Okay, all right, so just talking to the camera for a second. This is Courage and Chaos. This is Dungeons & Dragons for absolute beginners. So everyone around the table was an absolute beginner just several episodes ago, totally new to D&D. And this is really all about teaching Dungeons & Dragons. So we teach D&D from the basics up. We want to give people a great foundation so that they can then go to any table. So I'm giving you a variety of experiences. Please ask questions because it helps other people around the table. If you don't understand something, also anybody watching these videos. If you want to do this yourself, you can use my materials. So if you go to my Patreon page, which you can see links on this video and elsewhere, you can actually get these materials and do it yourself. You can teach absolute beginners D&D through this method, and it's all basically you get that material for free if you're a patron. And also you help support this organization. So thanks for coming. So I talked about the scene so far, that'll be carved off into a different video for people who want to watch that sort of thing. But the immediate scene is you are in a dome of ice and it's extremely cold, bitterly cold, in a weird penetrating way that you've never really felt in the natural world. And you have an idea that you're not in the natural world right now. You're inside this dome of ice with a flat brick floor. There's a brick walkway extending out of it that will go back to this iron door that leads back to a more normal place, a red dungeon that you've been exploring. But now you're in this huge dome, in the middle of this huge void. There's a bunch of chains curled up on the floor. There's a number of dead imps that are here, like they're sort of chopped up into pieces because you recently fought them. You hear the chattering of other imps. They've been flying down the shaft in the middle of that floor, so their chattering is getting distant, and they're having a conversation with someone down there. But the wind is howling very badly here. There's a brick-lined shaft, sort of a steep, tilted brick-lined shaft going downward that looked like the only way forward, if that's considering that's what you decided you want to do. The imps, they fought you, but each one retreated quite quickly after you'd engaged with them a little bit. It is so cold you can't take a long rest. You can't even really take a short rest here comfortably, though somebody mentioned having a bonfire. That would be possible, just the bonfire keeps getting sort of blown out and is very cold. You might have like a little harder time getting hit points back. Going down the shaft, it looks like it'd definitely be out of the wind. You can tell, but just by looking down there, it goes about 30 feet down. There's a brick floor, as usual. Another brick floor down there, but you can tell just that the ice and wind isn't blowing around down there, so it'd certainly be more sheltered down that way. But this being D&D, you could all decide to do your short rest here. At this moment, we have just discovered a new character underneath the ice. So when we get to you, we'll imagine you being sort of uncovered and sort of preserved. So it's almost like she's in sort of a stasis, maybe a magical stasis. That we can see this shadow of this body under the ice. And once you explored it, you realize that she woke up. Why you are in hell, as was discovered, we're not sure. Whether you captured, did you do a bad deal with a devil that went badly? Were you the victim of a cleric or a magic user that teleported you here? We can work that into your backstory. Maybe you don't even remember, and we'll uncover it as we go. So when we get to you, we'll introduce you as well. But let's introduce each of these characters as we go around. Starting with Oliver over here is playing Saryeth. Saryeth, he is a high elf wizard, level 2. And what do we see about Saryeth that's different than usual? Have everybody just give like a one sentence. What's different visually or emotionally than your usual thing, Saryeth?
He's having a religious meltdown in the corner over hell. What the fuck? I thought it was bullshit shit that priest made up.
Right. So this place is real? All right, great. Michael here is playing Fogrim. Fogrim, he is a dwarven cleric level 2. And what is different about Fogrim than the usual?
He's exhausted from carrying the rest of the party in the previous combat.
Whoa, well, yeah. I feel like you really did your share against those imps.
Yeah, the clerics carried the team, I feel.
All right.
We found a meat shield.
Fogrim, your soldier past is coming forth. Anna here is playing the newly discovered Evie Snowleaf. And she is a, sorry, what's your pronoun, Anna?
I don't know, she?
She? No worries. So she is a wood elf ranger level 1. And what's, this is the first time people have seen Evie, what's just, when you look or get the emotional tone of Evie, what's your most remarkable feature?
I suppose, I'm very elf-like. So when you look at me, clothes are sort of made of leaves and leather type of thing. So someone you'd find in the forest.
Yeah, very woodsy, very homemade.
Yes.
Yeah, extremely maybe like your traditional classic wood elf look. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Evie. Sean here is playing Shudyan. Shudyan, he is a human fighter level 2. What's remarkable about Shudyan right now?
Just trying to keep warm by polishing all the weapons and sharpening things up, and pacing.
That's good.
Pacing.
You might have been telling people about some wandering around. That wandering around you did in the world, of course, we just did that retroactively. So you didn't leave hell, wander around, and come back here. you did this at some point, before that. You went down the trapdoor. So also this might be your chance that you fill people in on some interesting geography and some places waiting for you in this nice, warm, sunny space. You miss the warmth and the sun of the surface, but down here in this cold area. Now, Shudyan, thanks very much. Olenka here is playing Shmaragd. They are a dwarf cleric level 2. What do we notice about them?
So, like Fogram, a little bit tired from having to cast the only thing that seemed to work against these imps. And also just, massaging that old shoulder injury because they got that piercing, I think it was, attack that they did knock them down. They've come back, so they've got now, not their full health and still going, right, we need to keep going. And so, there's piercing.
That poison. You might resist the poison, but it still kind of burns a little bit. Yeah, that's right. Those terrible birds.
Good one.
All right. Jimmy here is playing Vol. And Vol, he is a human fighter level 2. What do we notice about Vol?
He's trying to make a makeshift harness to be able to put one of the clerics in there to use him as a meat shield.
That's just rude.
All right.
I'd be carrying you at that point, though.
Just put him on your back and let him heal you.
All right, great. Also here, Anthony is playing Gammy.
Yes,
Gammy, he is a halfling rogue, level 1 or level 2? Did I have 3 people leveled up yet?
Where do I tell?
Yeah.
It would be on your index card, so how many experience points do you have on your card?
Right. I dropped 250 apparently.
Okay, so yeah, you're on the cusp of level 2, but you're currently level 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's Gammy. And so after this, hopefully you'll survive, and hopefully you'll be at level 2. Come a little bit early, and we'll level you up to level 2. You can also see on the back of your sheet how to level yourself up. Okay, and that is Gammy. What do we notice about Gammy in this moment? Now, of course, if you've missed sessions as you have, it just means you've been in the background, so you've been hearing from the story. You were with the group the whole time, and you were doing little fights on the side. But what is your attitude? What do you look differently or feel differently than usual, Gammy?
In a daze. In a daze.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's
something about
happening and I'm helping as best I can, but suddenly I'm in it where I'm just following what they want to do, and I'm in the ice now, and what the heck?
Yeah, that's what happens. That if you're not at the table, you're kind of in a sort of less heroic mode, but now you're feeling heroic again. Like finally, kind of gotten over the shock of being in this red dungeon. Now you're in hell, but now you've come back to life and ready to go. Okay, great. Okay, now rest. You can. You definitely want to take a short rest. You think that going down would be sheltered. Here, thanks to the use of Bonfire, which you just have to cast over and over again, I think that if you're constantly casting a cantrip, whoever's casting Bonfire would not be able to rest. But if you don't need the benefits of a short rest, then feel free.
Does short rest return hit points?
It does, yeah. Short rest can
I'm going to need it. I'm at 3.
Yes.
Okay.
So I remember
I
correctly,
also need a
the
short rest because I'm at 3.
imps ran down the hole.
Yeah, they went
and
down there and they're sort of chattering down there.
And we heard some spooky deep voice down there. So
Yes,
if we go
that's
down
right,
there,
yeah.
we may not necessarily be able to take a short rest.
Yep, that's right. Yep. So, but
Feels very suspicious.
Yeah, it's too cold to take a short. Even a short rest is impossible here. Like it's just too bitter cold with all the wind swirling around. It's in sort of circle. That walkway's terrible.
Take a short rest.
Yeah.
So, but yes,
we
that's
just
what
have a
dungeons
chance
are like. Yeah,
just a
dungeons.
chance to go for
As
it.
goes. So you think you'll go down before you have a short rest, or you can forego we can have somebody casting Bonfire foregoing their short rest in order to. But it sounds
I'm
like
at
you're
3.
delicate.
Yeah, just have to go down.
I need to either go. Yeah.
Look, I'm on.
Everyone's got healing
If someone wants to
potions.
heal me and then I'll bonfire, I'm okay with that.
I don't think anyone should use their spell slots right now.
Does anyone have a healing potion?
No. I can heal
I
without
can't
using
read
a
my
spell
handwriting.
slot.
I have a potion, but I'm not really using it.
No, it's that uses
no,
spell
that's
slots.
correct.
Under
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, cure wounds.
Yeah,
heals.
that's spell slots.
I got that.
Which is why I'm not
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to use it. Because
Right,
if
right.
Guiding Bolt's the only thing we've got.
You better give me a
Hold on to
potion
that.
back if
Well,
I
it's
do
been
this.
necessarily
I don't know.
done.
I can't have
Well, but
Okay.
look,
I've got
I
a
was
health
on.
potion.
I
Give
thought
me a
I was
health potion if
doing
I
pretty
bonfire.
fine.
I've got
Getting
plenty
to
of,
2/3
rations.
of my hit points, and I went to 0 in one hit.
Yeah, I remember.
So that's why, like,
So I can give him a health potion to get his hit points up, so all the rest of us can have the short rest, and so that will raise his.
But I think the problem is we have no guarantee of there being a short rest when we get down there.
No, no.
It might be
No, I
straight
meant
into
to
action.
have
So
Not
that's so there
downstairs.
is, despite the cold, the bonfire would allow you to do a short rest here,
Gotcha.
but because he
Yeah.
has to keep casting it, he doesn't get the benefit of the short rest. So
And that's why
he
I
needs
can
something
give
to
a
do.
health potion to him
Okay.
to be able to do that.
Well, look, my concern is I had 2/3 hit point. Like I was 12 out of 19. I thought, yeah, I'll be fine. No worries. I don't need to heal before this battle. And I went down in 1.
Yep. Welcome to my
now,
world.
so now I've only got 9 out of 19. So I'm still just under half my hit points.
Yeah, but that's what the short rest will help us with.
Which is why
Yeah.
I'm kind of saying I'm better off having some sort of short rest before we
I'm
go.
gonna need that potion.
So because you're
Okay.
are you injured in any way or just low on
Oh,
hit
injured.
points?
Just low on hit points.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I do
Really
have
low.
a healer's kit, but it doesn't have healing
Doesn't.
potions, but it can,
It
fix
stabilizes
minor,
me, but it
minor
won't.
wounds and stuff.
Yeah, it's great for stabilizing
Yeah.
people. And there's extra things there's an extra source book that if you get a hold of that, you can do extra things with the healing kit. That's pretty
Okay,
cool.
let's potion me.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Okay.
Before we do all that,
Okay.
I've got on here spells, sleep magic, missile.
Mhm.
So
Yep,
is
so you can
sleep
cast.
magic going to help him?
I'm not sure. So you might have spells from the ranger. So as a ranger level 1, you won't be casting spells yet. I think that note's probably back with your old character. So thanks for asking. But I
probably.
think
You're
those
a
are probably
wizard
your old
when I'm
character.
first
I'll
bit,
try.
Yeah.
Good try. So your healing potion does
Yeah.
2d4 plus
He
2
actually did.
hit points. And hope you roll high. 4, so the pyramid, a little sharp.
One of the ones that we all did.
These ones or
Mhm.
these?
No, so
No,
it was very
these-
spiky. No, that's a d10. It looks like.
D12. Yeah.
No, he's looking for a d4.
That one,
Oh,
yeah.
D12.
Yeah, you're trying your actual pyramid there.
Okay.
Yeah.
2,
2, okay. Plus
2.
2, okay. 4 plus another 2 is 6. You get 6 hit points back.
Okay.
And I'll just rub that.
Yep, and rub out that potion.
Okay, so then I've got one hit
Six
dice
hits.
remaining that I
Yes,
can
so
use.
this enables you to do a short rest. This wonderful cooperation you've done enables you to short rest. The bonfire is being concentrated on by Saryeth, and you're huddled around it as you're doing so. First of all, as you do it, is there anything you all sort of talk about? Like, before, as you rest, is there something, a little conversation that you all have? Is there something that somebody says to somebody else? Level 1.
Who's the most coldest here?
We're all really cold, so
Yeah.
I would think that we would probably not say too
Yeah.
much. We'd just be
Yeah.
teeth chattering going,
Yeah.
oh shit.
The sound of teeth chattering.
Yeah.
I just stand at the corner like a
Speaking
space
of,
heater.
of people who are upset, Jop is following Fogrim. So Jop is your followers. Oh man, I'm so cold. So Jop is tattooed. She's got burned eyes. She was the brains of the.
She doesn't
Kobold
have any
operation.
sleeves, does she?
Yeah, exactly. She's in like this velvet sort of evening gown. And she's like, oh man, I should have been here. I don't belong here. I'm a good person, man. I don't belong here. I'm so I want to get out of here. Why can't we go back? And he explained like the iron door is shut. There's a red mirror over it that's not going to open. Like we have to figure out we have to get down to the bottom before we're
The
allowed to leave.
change would kill her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is
So
Chop the one you helped in the cave? Like the first dungeon?
no, that was Thogrim. That's another one. And
Okay.
Thogrim, I believe, is that following somebody? Or I don't
Amos.
think we
Amos.
Amos, who is not
Amos.
here. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So no Thogrim.
So, with the short rest, what are we rolling for? Then?
Oh, just before we do that, is there any conversation? There's a chance for anybody. Does anybody have anything they want to say or ask a different
Game
character
related?
as you rest? No, it's just chat. It's just for color.
Okay.
Just for fun.
How did you like the movie?
Oh, it will have to be in game. It doesn't. It would be in character. Or maybe
wasn't
you
that
all
bad.
told the story
It
of
was
this. Yeah.
Honestly, when we get out of this and through this, I still want to get the other half of that rope when we get back, go back through the dungeon. Just remind me. I'm reminding you to
rope that
remind
got
me.
slipped off.
I
My
want-
rope.
Yeah.
Well, look, I've now down
When Tor slammed the trap
to.
door
20
shut.
feet, wasn't it?
I think I've gone from my 50 feet down to some sort of squiggle, and then I want the other half when we get back. I don't mind having two halves
think
of
you've
rope,
only
but
got
I am going
20
to hoard
now.
and
Didn't you use that
grab
20
onto.
rope to tie up Jop? Was that
Yes.
used?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's the other half that got snipped off at the
Yes,
trap
that's
door.
true. Yeah, that's
I
right.
want to
Yeah.
grab that
That's
bit.
what's left. Okay, great. Yeah. No, she was manacled. She got out of the manacles, I think, because it showed that she can get out of them very easily. Now I think you've tied her up, so I think you use that the remaining bit of rope. Is used
Yeah,
to
so
tie
we
her.
rescued that rope.
And she was just, you
Um,
can untie me. Like, where am I going to go, man?
But I
I'm gonna
want
be running
to
around
grab
on my own. You
that
can let me
rope
go.
that we left up there on our way back out. Remind me, I'm going to I'm gonna grab what's left of
I've
that.
made a note.
So, hey, does anybody have like Chaos Shard, or, like an advisor or something I could just really use a little something to kind of like maybe bravery, like the emotion of like bravery or the emotion of being warm or something? Kind of anybody got? I just want to
Jump
put it on
up,
my
we're
face.
letting you
and use
go cold turkey right now.
yeah,
Fine.
she's starting to look like as the time goes by, she's looking
Bloody
worse and
heroin.
worse. Okay. So, unless anybody else has got something else to say or ask of other characters?
I don't know if this is worth chatting about, but I wonder why the chains here are still, but they were active back in the red dungeon room.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So
we know
similar.
we
there's-
we had to dodge, we had to dive around
Yeah,
those.
there's a couple red
ones.
mirrors. They're sort of set sort of coming up out on stands coming out of the floor like little towers with red mirrors. They're the chains, but unlike that place that had the red mirrors and the chains, and you still feel kind of watched by those red mirrors. Yeah, the chains never moved.
The other room was a trial. I don't think the room that we're in now is a trial for
And it wasn't in hell.
It could be that also. It could be that this new character might have been chained up with like the chains might have gone underneath, and as you're looking at him, right, realize the chains are sort of securing Evie. More mystery.
Can my character has a drug pipe and drugs?
That's right.
yeah, we got them from Chop Chop.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
Okay.
you got life here already.
Now, if this is the great thing, if you come early, you can affect the relationship with an NPC. You could probably give her some drugs, cross them off your character sheet, and that you might become more friendly towards you. But there's no time for that right now. We'll have to keep on moving.
Sure.
Okay. So you now do the mechanics of the short rest. So just to remind you how that works is you can spend hit dice to get hit points. Hit dice should be on their character sheet, so they're a resource. Ask me if you don't know what I mean by that. But however many hit points you've lost, you can now roll a hit die. Whatever the size of your die is listed there. So you have different size dice. When you do, add your Constitution bonus. And you don't have to roll them both at the same time. You might have 1 or 2 hit dice.
And that's going to be just the number from here.
That's right, yeah, the Constitution bonus. So roll the die and add your Constitution bonus. That's how many hit points you get. Just make sure you track that. Oh my god.
Jinxed it. 2 plus 2, so 4.
I'm trying to remember. D10?
Look.
Yes, you'd have a D10. Yes, that is the D10. It's got
9
the
plus
irregular
4 is
size.
13. 6 plus 1 is 7.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you got more hit points at the moment. but I think
You
it was
people were
a-
fighters if you used your second win. Remember, yeah, that second win trick. that you asked me if you don't remember the second win trick. Also, you fighters, your short rest will restore your second win. So different characters will restore different things on a short rest. Fighters, remember that your second win comes back. So if you have a tick box next to second win, as I see you have there, you might want to untick it because short rest will clear that. That's the trick. So if you hadn't used your second win, you could do that even before your short rest starts, and you might get some hit points for free. So you might not even need to spend some die.
Just from
Nine?
Hold on to them.
Good.
I just bring this.
Yep, and you add your Constitution bonus. So you rolled a 9, which is very good.
Plus 2.
Oh, did you roll 7?
No.
2d10, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
so
you
that's
roll
fine.
them
You,
both.
you can,
Okay.
you can choose to roll them one at a time.
Yeah.
So you always do roll them one at a time. So first you get 7
Mm-hmm.
plus 2 is 9. So that's your first one. That used one of your hit dice. And if that's not enough, then you could take your second die.
That's enough. Yeah.
Okay, then
Yeah.
let's say you only lost 1 hit die, because let's say you rolled the 7, since that's the one furthest ahead. I'll say that's the first one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have one. Yeah. So now you subtract 1 hit die because you only rolled 1. Do you have any questions about the way hit dice work?
Slightly.
Yeah.
But why you said roll it once and then add your constitution
Yes.
over here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. This one rolled a D10.
No, that's Oliver.
Sure.
Your John.
Julian.
Yeah,
Julian.
Julian.
Has you'd roll it twice.
He has 2 hit dice to
Oh,
spend.
okay.
So when you become level 2, you have 2 hit dice.
Oh
that
right,
make
okay,
up
that's
your
a level
maximum.
thing. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
that's a level thing. Good. So you've subtracted your hit die and you rolled a D8 or whatever your hit die size is to get
It
more
says
points back.
D6.
D6, yes, that's right.
D8. Oh, well then I rolled the wrong one.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So that's
How
going to be
many
one that looks like
dice do I need? Oh, I need
a
3.
double pyramid.
Oh, good thing you checked. Yeah, and
This
you know,
thing
check
here.
each other and always look at what your
Yeah,
neighbor is
I've
doing
got
because we're all
that
teaching
wrong
each other here.
too.
So.
So I just rolled that
Yeah, that's the
and
D10.
added my
Oh.
constitution.
Oh,
No,
D10.
so she's got
Oh,
D10.
you got hit dice.
D10.
Yeah.
So D10 is one that
They'll
looks
roll this one again.
like...
Okay,
So it's 3.
so Evie.
Okay, so
That's
it looks
actually-
like
So Evie, you
this.
can't
It's
go
got
above your
this
maximum,
shape.
but I think to be like
a
everybody
D6.
else, I think you should probably not have your hit. So you should be at maximum hit points now with no hit dice. I think
Okay.
it's probably your best way to go.
All right,
But
well,
when you roll hit
well,
dice,
then
you
I
would
know
roll
that.
D10, which is
right.
much more useful
And
because
this
you're more of a
that's,
fighting
looks like
class.
this. So
And Anthony, yours
Yeah,
made
some
sense?
of them. Right.
Yes, I'm adding what I get, the
There might be
hit
something
dice
here.
plus the deck constitution
That's right.
added to my current hit
percentage.
points.
Out of your current
To
hit
make
points,
it-
just, and wouldn't not go over,
It's a
still go over your maximum.
Yeah, okay, so that makes me actually at
Just take
7.
the 0 off the end.
And I need to erase all my
Is
things
it your-
because
it's
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Erasing is very
I
common.
was just going to offer.
Okay.
The,
All right.
never mind.
Anna.
No, no.
Alrighty.
So,
Who's
um,
cold?
am I
So,
taking
Who's
one?
cold at the moment?
Yeah, that's right.
That's my maximum.
So,
Yeah.
now it's time to go down that shaft.
Yeah, so
If you've
so
got
just
Does anyone want to cast a light?
Yeah.
Or have
Yeah,
a
so let's assume that Evie is
If
at
you get
maximum
injured
hit
in the
points with
future
no
and you
hit
want
dice
to
because that's sort of
recharge, you would use that dice.
All right. Every time you do a short rest, I roll a wandering monster roll, and if I roll especially differently than on your behalf, if I roll, then something bad will happen. So either I'm making a note about nothing bad happening, or I'm just typing just to make you nervous.
something that eats with it, something that eats with something.
It's fine,
Typing
it's
just to
fine.
go, roll done, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Right, short rest.
We get all really.
Okay.
Nice creature.
So you don't get attacked during the short rest, which is good. You're alert enough as we go. Getting down this shaft. We'll do a quick version of this now. In full D&D, you could actually make sort of a whole segment of perilous climbing down a shaft while maybe imps are attacking you and whatever else. We'll do a fast version of that just by looking at your characters. If you were, so as you're going down the shaft, does anybody have something they think will give you some advantages on how well this goes? Is there something in your equipment? Is there an ability you have? Is there something you know about the world?
Last week-
Each person can name one thing that you think that your character can most contribute to safely getting down the shaft, possibly while imps might be watching you invisibly. They might attack you while you're down there. You might slip and fall. The cold might have an effect on you. So think of one thing your character can do that might help the group get down there.
You mentioned last week there were handholds and
Yes, there
footholds
were.
in
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It seems like some of the bricks are pushed out almost. This seems like by design. They're all pushed out the same amount, like their handholds.
Alright, I'm willing to put my shield on my back, over my backpack and stuff. Sorry?
Sorry. I
No,
thought you
what
were
I'm
gonna
going to
slip.
do is once again use a cantrip and cast light on it. So there's light while we
that's
get
right,
there.
yes, 'cause it is
I'm little
very
enough
dim
that,
light down
if
here.
I need to sit halfway so we get some light.
Very good.
I have an uncut rope.
Okay, good. Yes, that's great. Yeah. So for everything that somebody mentioned, everybody's mentioned one thing.
Yeah.
If it's something I think makes sense, I'm going to put a bead in my hand. If it's something that is not is a good idea but not powerful, so I won't put a bead in my hand. I'll reveal how many beads. So maybe I put a bead in my hand. That is a very good idea, though. You have another idea.
I
though.
could lower you down to make it easier for you, so you don't. So you've got your hands free to be able to.
Nice. Okay.
cast
So maybe I'm adding a bead because you're using your rope. Anybody else have something that you think?
I
would
also
help
have
the group?
50 feet of hempen rope.
Ah, great. Okay, I might be adding a bead for that.
Okay, yeah.
If there's any wood around, I might be able, as a woodmaker, I might be able to quickly chop it up with an axe so we can put in some.
I think it's all frozen.
We're in hell.
Trying to interrupt. Oh, what was your idea?
Oh, like as we're going down the shaft, I could put in some things so we can stand on them if we're helping.
Ah, like gaps in there, yeah. So, do you have wood, or does anybody have wood in their inventory that she can carve up? Because she's a
Tinder?
good wood carver. Do you have some bits of tinder?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the way that the ice is quite slippery, so there are things where even though there's no gaps in the rocks themselves, if you wedge the tinder, if you use the tinder box and carve it up nicely, you might be able to sort of make the steps a little bit less slippery. That might be.
Shape it until you can stick it.
Okay, good. All right, so that might be contributing. Who has not spoken yet?
I was just thinking of maybe using the great axe just to clear away some of the ice, so it's less.
Oh, that's nice and strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
that might sort of chip away the ice. That might work. Yeah.
What's it made out of?
It's all brick, so it's very, very sharp,
Just get on.
yeah, exactly same shaped brick with no grout. They're sort of magically stuck together, and some of them are pushed out to make these footholds and handholds.
So I could use like stone cutting or mason's tools or something like that.
Ah, yeah, no, I think so. If you have the mason tools and stone cutting,
I do.
Yeah, I think some of the bricks can actually. It's not like you can chip, but you've discovered that some of them are a little bit loose. They can sort of be brought out a little bit, so you sort of you can pull some of them out. It's weird. It's like the bricks, some of them slide very smoothly in a weird way. It's like there's some sort of mechanics behind there, so that might help as well. Anybody else got an idea, or hasn't spoken yet? Anybody got an idea? Well, very good. I think I've got as many beads as speed. All of those are great ideas. Yes. So thanks to fantastic work, you all go down. Of course, this just modifies the roll that I've got, but you couldn't possibly be so unlucky. No, you get down without any damage and without any incidents. So good job. Okay, so that's just a quick way to do sort of an action scene like this. How does everybody contribute? Then I roll a die and just sort of add that many beads to it. If it's high enough, okay, you get down safely, and you do. Well, you might be thanking yourself for having this short rest, because when you go down here, you do see this room is occupied. You don't see the imps, but you do see a figure in this large brick room. So I always start off with things that are interesting and threatening. So what you see is this. Now he is not all muscly as you see this. Oh, I'm doing the slides. My goodness. I highlight them in yellow to remind me to do that. So we recap the story. For those of you looking at home as well, this also refers to, could you open that sliding door a little bit? That sliding door there, I think is not working for me. Yeah, so this is a sort of a guardian thing. So again, if you're using the materials, I have some references to which part of my module we can do. But now, so in this, you see a figure that looks like that. However, instead of being bare, he has this red skin, but he's wearing a very nice business suit. But the chains and the hooks and the extremely muscular nature of him are the same. Red skin, he's hanging from a lot of chains, like he's suspended in the middle of this room. This room is maybe 10 or 20 feet high, brick, and he's suspended where the chains are all attached to him, but he's got these hooked chains hanging from him as well.
So
but he has
chains that are on the floor upstairs.
They're the same kind of chains. These chains go up through holes in the brick, both above and below, and he's sort of suspended. He's sort of always sort of like moving up and down and sliding as he talks to you. He's extremely confident
So he's alert.
and well dressed. He's very alert and looking at you as you go down, like he's been waiting for you.
Okay.
Well, you said he's wearing a business suit.
Yes, he's wearing a very nice business suit.
Okay.
Running around, moving around the floor around him, also you've zoned into some things that look very strange. They are small, sort of child-sized fleshy creatures. And these fleshy creatures are misshapen, have sort of claws for hands. They're sort of sliding around on the floor.
Gross.
Yeah. They're sort of like this flesh of all different colors, right? All different those. So like human flesh of every possible, or like even might be elven, halfling, etc. That kind of flesh of every different color, but they're all misshapen and weird like that. And
More unfortunate
each of them has a little fragment of red mirror in its hand, and is looking at that little fragment of red mirror, very much like the fragment of red mirror that you have.
Embedded in their head or holding in their
Holding
head?
on to it, yes, gripping onto it. So,
We don't have to pry him out.
and they seem mesmerized. They're looking, those little fleshy creatures are looking at these mirrors and sort of tilting their heads as if they're trying to look through them, and have this mournful, mesmerized look on their face. They're slowly moving around on the floor. Ooh. There is only a one door to exit from here. It's a door set in one of the walls, and it's covered with chains, similar to the kind of door that was up at the dungeon before, and that's the only exit out. This this person can only be described as a devil. You see horns. He's got you've heard about the way the hells work, and all of you have heard childhood stories of what devils look like. Apart from the business suit, he looks the epitome of a devil from the chain. So I'll refer to him as the chain devil. He says to you, with a beautiful, he's got a brilliant, winning smile, very nice white teeth, and he's got a very sort of pleasant aspect as he's talking to you.
Like. As in he's trying to charm
He's very
us.
calm. He's very, very charming as he
Used
talks
car
to you.
salesman as you
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking that business suit, devil, that matches.
He says, "You seem very determined to reach the end of this dungeon through this door behind me. That is where the Abanfil clan will test you."
The what, sorry?
The Abanfil clan. Perhaps you have heard of them. Have anybody heard the name Abanfil before? Okay. That might have come up during the puzzling and all that, but some of you might have heard that. The Abanfil clan will test you, but first, I will test you. He grabs something, there's chains hanging all around him, and one sort of hanging at his side or behind him. He pulls it out, and it is a red mirror. But it's a complete oval red mirror, like the type that you saw up in the corners of the room that had the chain and the fireplace. And it's surrounded by that black iron, sort of wicked-looking grill work around it, and he shows it to you. So you saw that, but as you gaze into it, this is the last time you showed that tattooed glyph to this mirror. When he turns the mirror to you, first you see yourselves, but also you sort of learn to look through the mirror. Again, it's like looking at like a window out onto a dark night. That if you just focus your eyes, you can see there's something beyond the mirror, and you can ignore your own reflections. And you can see that very room, the room that you're in that had the fireplace and the chains and all the puzzles and stuff. You can see that you're seeing the room from the perspective of that red mirror that's up in the corner. And you can see that through this mirror that he has. Has an open fireplace, so it must be as it is right now. He says, I can see through my red mirror and out through many, many other red mirrors in the world. I saw you in that room. And he taps the mirror with this long black fingernail that he has. You showed me the proper Abanfield glyph on the hand. It's not usually the way that I see such a thing, but rules are rules. So I let you through. As you recall, you had that mummified hand that you found up the chimney.
Still do.
Still do. So he's the one who let you through because he saw that you had this thing.
He did.
He points to these fleshy things moving around. He refers to them as lemures. I sometimes spell these things, so if you ever do searches and stuff, lemures. And you see that those fragments of mirror that they're looking into, he explains that. He talks about the mirror bits. He says, these things that are held by the lemure are they're mere fragments of 2 mirrors that used to be in the red brick tower where you came from. That mirror was shattered by idiots who learned to regret their transgression. Now these fragments, he points again to these mirror fragments like you have that are in the lemure's hands. These fragments have only a small part of the power of a whole mirror. No self-respecting devil or member of the Abanfo clan would use such a shoddy little fragment. So you have some idea of what this thing is as part of a larger mirror, but has some power. To amuse myself and to teach you something useful, I gave mirror fragments to the lemures. I made the mirrors show them glimpses of the mortal worlds that each lemure left behind. Ah, very good. Yes, they're looking at the mortal world that they left behind. By doing so, they remember what they did back when they were alive. So, he describes, and you put together again from your childhood stories and your own learning, that you do know that souls end up in a place like hell. There's many different planes of existence, and souls, when they leave the material world, when they leave the body upon death, actual death, not just 0 hit points, but if you have 3 death saving throws, your soul detaches. And unless it's stuck in one place, like some things will make a soul sort of stick there and become a ghost, a soul will travel, maybe on its own will, or maybe it's just drawn by power to one of these planes of existence. The plane that it's drawn to is very much about what is its nature. Each of the planes of existence, or many of the planes of existence, have a very strong alignment associated with them, a real moral alignment. So that soul kind of wants to be there because it's lived its life under a certain moral code, and it wants to go to the afterlife that epitomizes that moral code. Hell, the 9 hells they're called, this is one of the 9 hells that you must be in, is lawful evil. So evil is no regard for life and liberty and all that other stuff. So don't let that stop you from getting your goals. So that would be good if you let those things stop you, someone else's life and liberty. But also law, which means that you have a plan. You're willing to do these evil things because there's a larger goal and a larger hierarchy and a larger structure that you're trying to serve.
There's rules behind it.
Yeah, very strong rules. The classic example is Nazis, right? You say evil but lawful evil, and they had a big plan and a big system that they did. Whereas chaotic evil is like the demons that you came across. They're just insane and love destruction and very self-centered and no rules and no structures. So I'm going to skip the law versus chaos is very interesting, but let's focus on the evil part of it here. So these souls, as he explained, these are souls that came to hell and formed in these lemures because now this is their new home. So these mortal souls coagulated into these lemures. So these figures themselves, just like you would, if you lived a lawful evil life, you would end up as a lemure in hell. If you have a good life, you might end up in like the Elysian Fields, or you might end up in a Arborea, which is a wonderful place for neutral, chaotic people. It's all very nice. So they're the lemures that are formed from souls that are drawn to the 9 hells due to their evil actions, and I explained what evil is. So we're all going to do a little exercise here. Each of you is going to take a Post-it. So take a Post-it and a pencil. And each of you is going to write down, but before you write, let me describe it fully. You're going to write down a devilish act. So you're going to write down something that an ordinary mortal would have done in their life, something they did that would have drawn their soul towards hell, that really epitomized their evil nature. So this is what the devil is asking you to think of you. Well, no, the devil's not asking you to. I, as a DM, am asking you to because these lemures have done these things. So it's an act that some might call evil. Devils wouldn't call it evil, by the way. They just call it just getting the job done without being restricted by the laws of good. So this is what someone like this Lemure might confess about something they did in their mortal life that drew their soul towards hell. Now, devils value order, so it's even better for something that fulfilled a principle or goal, but focus mostly on the evil part. However, it's too simple to make this confession something really blatantly evil with no possible discussion, like I burned down a house full of babies because my commanding officer wanted to warm his hands. That's so evil that nobody would dispute, okay, that's a bad thing. That's so evil. Anyone can call that evil. But I want you to write down something that's kind of borderline, something that some characters here might disagree as to whether it's truly evil or not. Write down something that kind of splits the room. Some characters might say, oh yeah, that's evil, that would send you to hell. Some characters might say, oh, that's more neutral, it's bad-ish, but it's not hell-worthy. So you want to get something that sort of makes different characters, as the characters that you are here, disagree. It's a conversation we often have in D&D. It's actually quite interesting. It's a moral, is something evil, truly evil, or is it just neutral, which is like bad, selfish, impulsive, can be a neutral thing, or whatever else. It's not what something everyone would call evil. So I'll read out each of these confessions that you write, but they'll be anonymous, right? I won't write down your name on it because it might inspire me to do things with characters and stuff. But I will not reveal your name, your character name, or your real name as I read these confessions. So I'll read it, and everyone will vote openly and simultaneously whether your character thinks that act was evil, not just neutral, but truly evil. And it'll be a thumbs vote. So what you want to do is something that's borderline enough. You think some people will vote, neutral, and some people will vote evil. Yeah, so it'll be something that splits the vote.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the trick is the devil's going to reward you for having a hearty debate about whether it's evil or not. So you want to be able to talk about these things. You don't have to say what your idea was, because it's not you that did it. It's something that one of these Lemures did.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get more rewards if you split things.
Yeah, true.
You split the vote. Okay. Jop is doing it as well. So can somebody give me a post-it as well, please?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now interested.
That's right. So you'll have a couple
Yeah, I
minutes to
think
do that.
I think just with the laughter, mine isn't going to compare really, but
Yeah. So when somebody splits the vote, it's something. Some will definitely say, "Yeah, that would send you to hell." Those like, that's more neutral, bad, selfish, impulsive, maybe, but not truly evil. It's nothing that sends you to hell. And of course, it's a lifetime full of stuff like this. It's rare for one action to be the one thing that sends you to hell that almost is really bad. Chances are, these whoever these Lemures were, they did many things like this during their life. Yeah, so it's like a confession. Thank you. And you write down your character name. I will not reveal it, but again, it helps me might help me develop some backstory ideas. But it will never be revealed who wrote what. So do write down your character name. It'll help. Unless you're really uncomfortable, don't write down your character name and say, no, I don't. I never want you to know. That's fine. Thank you.
I have no idea mine's actually evil, but as we heard,
That's
it
right.
made
That's
me
what
giggle,
goes.
so
Yeah.
and that's recorded.
I wonder how many people it's been sent to.
Our audience is rather small. Right. For now.
everyone laughs in their own way.
That's
right.
Occasionally I snort.
Yeah, everyone snorts occasionally.
I don't think mine's evil enough, but I'm going to go with it.
Sure.
Doubt yourself. I'm sure there's evil
don't
in
doubt
You
there.
have to add
Piece
some
of shit.
excellent.
Great, thank
add
you.
something red to it.
I tried not to go too dark and evil.
Right.
Sort of flick someone for
I did the opposite.
every day of their life for the rest of their lives.
That's right.
Oh, that would be interesting. Just getting a spoon and just tapping them on the exact same
I
spot.
see
on
that
their
it's a
head.
bit deep.
Okay, I'm going to mix
I did
these
something-
up.
That's easy.
Semi-evil to my brother once. I had a ball, same thing. I was just bouncing it right above his head. Bounce, bounce, bounce. He finally cracked and then chased me. And then I did a hip and shoulder and pushed him to the wall and he broke his toe.
I've got a friend who is obsessed with coffee. They have to have it every single day. So,
Which decaf?
yeah.
Yeah. So this is why I also have decaf in my home. So out of an evening, if I feel like a coffee, I will make it decaf.
Yeah.
Look, I drink instant
But
bite
they-
anyway, so it's
All
I
right.
just
Anytime I
proper
say
case
that
awful anyway.
I'm going to do that, they threaten to kill me. That
Here we
is
go.
How bad it is for me.
So, that was all sort of out of character. So the speech has been finished by the devil, and these confessions are going to be by the Lemures themselves. So the chain devil looks at one of those Lemures, those fleshy things moving around. He's looking at it, but the chain on its own moves, wraps itself around the Lemure, it picks up the Lemure and makes the Lemure hover in front of him. It's sort of squeezing its little soft body and sort of grunting. It's sort of grunting and struggles a little bit. The devil says, "Confess," to the Lemure. And the Lemure says this. I had to decide if either the father or mother with 2 children would hang for treason. I chose the mother. I had to decide if either the mother or father with 2 children would hang for treason. I chose the mother. Now, that's the only confession you get. You can't interrogate it. Just like anybody in judgment, you have to make your best judgment only based on information. However, now the devil wants you to say, do you think this is an act that's sufficiently evil to merit the glories of hell? Or do you think it would be to the weak side? So, debate. Do you think it drew this soul closer to hell, a lifetime full of actions like this? And debate with each other, because he's listening to you. So everybody try and make sure that everybody talks sort of about an equal amount.
I think a bit of it depends on the age of the children, because if the children are very young, they might need their mother more. But their father might be a better chance of survival.
Sorry, I interrupted. Sorry for interrupting you. I forgot. The discussion comes after the vote. All right, without discussing it first, discuss. No, that's fine. No, that was my mistake. So discuss whether you think this act was good. You're going to put your thumb out like, no, this would send you to heaven. Neutral means like, selfish, bad, impulsive, but not truly what I call evil. That should send you to hell. Or down means, yes, this would draw your souls closer to hell. So on the count of 3, where everybody's going to close their eyes, right? You'll openly put your thumb up for good, sideways for neutral, down for evil, and then I'll tell you when to open your eyes. And you got to commit. So I'm not going to tell you to open your eyes until everybody votes. So think about it. Close your eyes and vote. Keep your eyes closed as you stick out your thumb one way or the other. Going to wait for everybody to have made a decision. Still waiting for one. Still waiting for one. Okay. Open your eyes. Wait, and keep your vote there. Great. Oh, one says heaven.
Oh.
Yes, you're right. So one is heaven, and the other ones are sideways. Okay, hang on. So there's one up or sideways, and the other ones are down. We have 4, 5, 6, 7 people. 6. Yeah. Okay. So only one is up or sideways. So all of them basically. So none of them voted this is evil. Now the devil wants you to discuss like, very interesting. Why do you not think this was an evil act? So discuss again, taking turns as necessary to discuss it, and he's listening. Continue. You started yours, Anna. So why don't you continue?
I'm just saying we don't know the reason why he had to. Obviously treason was performed. We presume that he was delivering the law for someone who's committed treason, and I think that he might have been choosing the mother or the father, or in this case the mother, for the best survival chances of the children. But I think that might have depended on the age of the children.
Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, keep talking to each other. And feel free to talk from your characters like you did. Your character's point of view. You could even use your character's voice or refer to your character's past. Who else has got something to say?
Also, the person who made this decision might have been on part of a jury, not just the sole person.
I was
that
thinking
made
a soldier,
yeah.
but I didn't want to.
Okay,
I was going to say, Shmaragd is a soldier in their past life, so they understand sometimes having to carry out orders that they may not necessarily agree with. And look, there's a way to have made it more evil. Just simply hanging one parent over another is not necessarily evil.
Okay, good. Who else has got something to say? The devil's listening.
I actually think that regardless of whether it was the mother or the father, we don't actually know what the act was. We know it was treason, but it's just against royalty, nobility, something like that. But we don't know, was it to like they stole something from the nobility, did they actually kill
Don't know
a
the
noble?
depth. We don't know the depth.
We
of
don't
that.
know
Yeah.
about that part, so I think that is
the
the
judge.
better question about that, rather than whether it's the mother or the father.
All right. Who else has not spoken and wants to give their opinion?
I think I agree with the general opinion. So
Okay.
we literally don't know enough, and
Mm.
and like I say, we don't know the age.
Mhm.
Could maybe the mom, wife, or mother maybe was maybe there was something. They're old enough, but maybe she was not.
More
We're not
involved
sure of
in
the
the.
circumstances, so yeah, not enough information to.
and maybe he was actually a better caregiver than she was for some reason.
I know I've spoken, but what came to mind when you were speaking was like Anne Boleyn, like she committed treason by, not so much Catherine Howard, by sleeping around. So that is an act against the king in that she could have been pregnant and therefore would have, been committing
Illegal
treason by her actions,
illegal hair or something.
by sexual actions. So that, in that case, it could be, right, we're killing the mother because of what she's done. So it could be that reason, something like
All right.
I don't know what Anne Boleyn is, but that's okay.
that. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
Anybody else want to add anything? It's all good.
I think it's just straight up a good action because it's you're obeying your lord and you're and this is my character / a little bit of me.
Sure. That's great. Yeah, speaking in character is what it's all about.
You're obeying your lord. And you told us previously that in this society that men and women are equal.
Yes.
And so it's just a coin flip on who's takes care of the children. Really, it doesn't really come down to men get paid more unless there's a gender
No, in the society, yes.
wage
It's
gap.
unknown.
So there's no wage gap. It's a pretty equal society. It's a flip of the coin. This is an evil action. He's literally following the law that has been. And I'm not sure that even he wasn't the one that passed the sentence. He said, "I followed through on an order."
Yeah.
This was like one superior saying, "Executioner, hang these people," and the executioner can't just go, "No, I don't feel like it today. I like these people."
All right. Great.
There's nothing evil about this.
I
Okay.
think I was thinking of the age of the children was more to do with, I guess, breastfeeding.
Yeah.
That sort of, depending on.
Real infant.
Yeah, that real infant.
I think at that
Right.
point
Yeah,
it's a lot
witness.
easier to make the decision
Yeah.
between the two.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So
Something.
that's good. So we'll move on, but very good. So it's not just so that the devil. The vote was not split. We want to find things that some people think is evil. Those are things very interested in. Obviously, you all believe this is not very evil, but you made a very good discussion. I did like that. And as he's saying that, he's like rubbing his fingers together. His little gold beads kind of appear and drop into his hand. Just a couple gold beads. Because you had even though the vote was really not very good, because you had a good debate, I'll give you a bit of a reward for that. So just a couple gold beads drop into his hand. We get the idea that if the next one splits the vote more, then that is something that might get more of a reward. So we'll go to the next one. So picks up another little mirror, so sets that one down. He keeps looking at his little mirror, and now he knows like looking at some part of his mortal life that has to do with this very activity, So maybe dwelling on this part of their past. Picks up another Lemure and says, "Confess." And Lemure says the following: "I sold a kitten to a witch to get money to buy food for my baby. I sold kitten to a witch who would use it as a sacrifice for some evil spell, but for money to buy food for my baby." So, think about that. And close your eyes. Stick out your thumb when all the thumbs are out. Up is good, sideways is neutral, down is evil. Okay, keep your thumbs there, but open your eyes. Okay, so we have one down, good, and the rest are sideways or up. One down, the other one sideways or up. All right, so I think you can put your thumbs down. And go ahead and debate on that. So in any order, say why you voted the way you did and see if the devil likes your debate.
It's a business deal. It's just that simple. And it's no more different from selling a cow to be eaten for a kitten to be killed. It's like, what level of the animal is it like? Is it down to cuteness or taste, really? Like, I know that's a bit
Did-
fast.
did-
Look at somebody else.
We don't know if there was
Did the person really know what it would be used for? I voted that it was a good action because at the end of the day, it's just something in order to feed his family or something like that. It's like, okay, well, at the end of the day, if you're starving, you'll do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, you don't really care what
It's
the
one of
customer
one
does
of
with
the
it.
base needs, right? So you need to satisfy that. So I can't fault that personally.
And that's actually my feelings for neutral. I didn't think it was necessarily good, but it's just a transaction. Sell something, receive money, whatever the witch is using for, sacrifice, eating, whatever. That's on their end. You receive the money. It's
Money
neither
gets
here
a
nor
bit.
there.
Good, good. These are all good. Nice brief points. Very good. And who's got another brief point to make?
I'm a beastmaster, so I value kittens far more than babies.
That's great.
And I do in life too.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
There's plenty of babies. Plenty of small babies.
I personally, honestly, I went for the going to heaven for it because that we don't know about the baby. We don't know if there was something wrong with the baby, if they were sick or anything. They would just, it's an act of a parent
Caring for
a child.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And what other person would actually not sell something to care for their child?
Yeah. They use that opportunity.
The babies count.
Yeah, fair enough.
Very good. Okay. Who else has not spoken that wants to say something short about why they voted the way they did?
Just a normal procedure in human existence. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Can't fault them for it.
All right, very good. Another good debate. Well done. And as so, there was all right. Now you're getting the idea. That's something where I had a bit of a disagreement about whether this was evil or not. Very interesting. A good debate as well. So this time, it's the beads come out, but now it's one or two more beads in the last one because the vote got split and the discussion was still good. All right. He has another confession. I murdered a cleric of a cult. The cult was killing members of my community. I murdered a cleric of a cult, but that cult was killing members of my community. So think about that. Close your eyes and stick out your thumb. And open your eyes. Keep that there. So 1, 2, 3. Nicely split. So 3 down, 4 upper neutral. Very good. You put your thumbs down? All right, very nice. I would love to hear what each of you think of this one. So go ahead and discuss in any order.
The fact that they said they murdered rather than they got revenge or made them atone for, so they considered it themselves a crime. So there was a level of guilt there or something, so that they actually had to call it. I murdered them. I took their life. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I took it to mean obvious, like it's technically murder, even though they're a cult leader and the cult leader is taking people from the village. It's still murder. But in my opinion, they're a cult leader kidnapping people. It's more of an assassination or a
mercy.
I have to stop the cult leader. So, but yeah, technically it's murder because you're killing them without their permission.
I don't think it requires their permission. It's the permission of the state. The state has the
exactly,
authority on who lives
say,
and who dies, or else we go to blood feuds.
But in this case, it's the Lemure saying themselves that they murdered someone.
Yeah, I went with the tone.
Could be that they're feeling bad about doing it, even though, for the greater good, they're saving their own people by killing this one person.
I don't necessarily agree that murder was the best course of action to solve that. There surely must have been other
Just because they're a
options.
cleric.
Please don't interrupt, but continue.
Murder shouldn't have been that option. There must have been something else, getting other people involved, getting authorities involved, than necessarily murder.
Okay. And also, we'll probably have time for each person to make a statement. It'd be great. At the pub, we can debate this more, but thank you for that. Who else has got something to say that hasn't made their main point yet? If you did,
From my character's perspective, I'm chaotic neutral, so stitch in time saves none. That's it, pragmatist. You know, I know that systems are corrupt, so I don't care about them. I'll just do what I have to.
Is that so? Which way did you vote? Did you vote for neutral?
I voted that fine.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I disagree heavily. The state has to be in control. We have to have systems, or
In a
else there
perfect
is.
world, for sure.
But we can't live in a world of just do what you want. There has to be, even if the system's horrible, it has to still be there. That's my character's point of view.
Yes, my character has had a backstory where his village has been destroyed by nobles, so he doesn't care about your perfect view.
It's not about perfect view. My character's a realist, not a pragmatist. He understands that it's not perfect, but it's what we got. So, and you can work within the system, but you can't work outside the system. It doesn't work.
Yeah, see, I'm living in the woods because I don't trust your system.
And the devil says, "Oh, this is the classic debate of law versus chaos."
Yeah.
We all need a system of laws. I would think. We need to adhere to the same rules. I find your viewpoint very interesting. Okay, who has not spoken yet and wants to make a point? You don't have to, but if you have a point to make, the better the debate, the more reward you get.
Oh, we can debate forever if we want.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I'm not gonna get into it. I don't
who's
know
not
if we
spoken
can
yet? We won't have much
speak
time for
out
back
the
and
subject.
forth, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This is sort of an opening
the real
statement. So
world-
what would your opening statement be if you hadn't spoken yet? Anybody who hasn't spoken yet want to make an opening
So my
statement?
character is extremely.
Oh, no, I think my character just thinks that it's an evil act, so
Yeah.
that's what I voted.
Is there a way to summarize why it's evil, or why it's defined as evil for you?
Just the fact that it was a murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just flat. Okay, all right, very good. So, in this one, it's like, now we're really getting somewhere. He says, I really like to hear you mortals discuss these sorts of things. So now many more beads are coming out of his hands. So not only was it a very good debate, but also it was a very nice, perfectly split vote, 4 versus 3. So there you've got a much higher, like at least double the number of beads you've ever seen before.
Can I ask, are these beads, can we see if they're actually solid or are they liquid? Beads of
They're
like a
forming
liquid?
out of nothing in his hand, but they do seem to be solid when they drop into his hand.
Okay.
Now, maybe he's resisting them being molten, but you can sort of hear them clack against each other like
Okay.
little
Are they
bearings.
clinging or like
It sounds like metal ball bearings falling against each other. So it sounds heavy and it sounds metallic and it sure looks like gold.
That's gold. I was wondering.
Well, unless you have an alchemist, why would a devil fool you? Okay, next.
Wow. Very.
All right. So this next confession. I stole and I cheated a church fundraiser to give the money to an orphanage. I cheated and stole from a church fundraiser to give money to an orphanage. Think about that for a moment. Close your eyes and vote. Close your eyes, everybody. Vote. You can still think if you want. I won't have people open their eyes, so if you're still debating, you don't have to vote instantly. Think as much as you need. Okay, open your eyes and hold your thumbs there. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, another great split. 3 down, 4 sideways or up. Okay, please debate in any order.
The church fundraiser could have been going to another orphanage or other charitable thing that may have been in greater need.
It's like sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's sort of you're deciding that your cause is better than their cause, and yeah.
I decided the cause was to rescue kittens earmarked for sacrifice.
You interpret it as a kitten orphanage? Yeah, it didn't say human orphanage. It could have been a kitten orphanage.
Well, yeah, that could have. I mean, that was the other. That was the choice between orphanage kittens.
Oh, so which way did you vote? You voted down?
I
or
voted neutral.
Neutral,
because
yeah.
we didn't know what the other thing was.
Yeah. Okay.
I also voted neutral because while it's just probably not ideal, like you said, that it's, well, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, or the church to pay the orphanage, we don't know, it's misguided, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's evil, and it's
Very good.
not necessarily
Very
good
glad to hear.
because you could have done it in a better way.
we don't actually know
Still, someone
whether
else
the
deciding the laws
fundraiser.
is better than.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no. We don't actually know if the fundraiser was meant to be going to an orphanage. Maybe it was just going to build a better church.
It was going to me. I'm a cleric and I got robbed.
I reckon I was going to buy a golden candlestick.
And this is why Shmaragd voted it was good, because Shmaragd knows how some churches can be very self-serving, and Shmaragd made the decision that it was a good thing because at least we know an orphanage is a good cause. We don't know what the cause was for the church fundraiser, and it's very likely, or just as likely, to be self-serving as well as to be for a charitable cause. So Shmaragd voted that way for that reason.
Okay. Good. Again, we don't have much time for back and forth. Who has not spoken at all that wants to make sort of their opening statement?
Really.
Okay. All right. Again, very interesting. I'd really like to hear how some of you would justify stealing from a church, for the right reason. I'm going to keep this in mind. It's very good to know. He's definitely noting all this, like he's sort of nodding, as he's sort of examining all of your reasoning and stuff. And now you're learning. I think that's why he likes the debate. He likes to sort of know how all of your sort of like inner sort of moral workings work. He's paying very close attention to each of you. So, right, that's very interesting. Very good debate as well. I really like how you discuss this. So he again creates quite a few of these gold beads because it's a perfectly well split vote with a very good debate. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, pick one of those. I was a highly intelligent inventor, and I was using a technology that would reconstruct the Feywild, so everybody could live in it. It did have the side effect of bringing demons into the world, however. So, I was a inventor of a technology that was going to reconstruct the Feywild that everybody could live in and enjoy. But it did have the side effect of bringing demons into the world. Think about that. Close your eyes.
Sounds very advisory.
Close your eyes. And vote. Okay, open your eyes. Okay, one evil. The other one's neutral. All right. So, please debate.
Feels like an unintended consequence
Yeah.
that could not have
I mean,
been
they-
forecast.
Unlike murder, you set out to murder. They had a intention there. Their intention was to create. They didn't anticipate any side effects. So
And demons are bad, obviously.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Good
It's
intentions.
demons are
can't
very
pave
bad.
the way to hell,
Yeah.
obviously. So we don't
I think
know.
it shows naivety, really.
And it's
But-
not like demons are unknown of in this realm. Like, we encounter them from time to time. Unintended consequence.
But what if we have a demon so evil that it's a Hitler demon and it wipes out the Feywild?
That
There's worse
has
demons.
just been made. But,
Oh, sorry.
it was the actual act of making the thing
Right. Yeah.
evil. I mean, it's just the consequence turned out to be a bit of an oops.
yeah,
Is how I see it anyway.
Yeah.
it's invention and exploration
didn't-
and discovery and
Yeah.
But also, when they realised what they were doing, they didn't stop,
Oh, true.
which is a bit of a, now I'm starting to side with
yeah, it's,
over here with Vol.
I find that it would have, because it didn't stop, it was a selfish act. They were wanting to do it more, knowing that demons would be coming out of the world.
Yeah.
And let's face it, we have pretty much captured Chop Chop for the same reason. She was using those same jewels and things to create.
Oh man, it wasn't my fault. It's just the demons are entering the world all the time. It had nothing to do with what I was doing. This is
Chop Chop, you
just
opened a
coincidental.
rift
That's
yourself.
not to the demon realm. It's just chaos was. It's not my fault. Demons are always coming into the world. It's not my fault, man.
That would sway me to say that it's evil.
Why Chop Chop? Or
All right. Anybody who hasn't spoken yet that wants to do a sort of an opening statement?
Can we change our vote?
No, it's the initial vote. That's good. That's fine. I like the debate. Okay. You thinking? Or
No, no.
okay.
Ready for the next one. Sorry,
Okay.
that's the
All right.
pay attention time.
We need
For the
more
first
rock.
time, when like the devil's always had this very sort of polite, like genuine interest, but when demons get mentioned, this sort of blaze gets in his eyes, and his smile gets extremely tight. He says, "I don't think you realize exactly how dangerous demons are. They are the opposite of anything that you would want in the material world. Demons are going to feed on the material world. Only an orderly plan can stop them from eating everything that you know. Demons are the enemy." So he seems quite personally involved with that, and he's glaring at Jop, but he's so mad. The devil's mad at me, man. So I didn't do it. So they're lying about this. Like the demons showed up. So I was working on technology too. I made the same kind of technology, but I know that it's not intentional. You cannot use intention to justify morals. It's the intention that matters for shit sometimes. It is the result that you should focus on. So for the first time, you're seeing how much of that. However, I do appreciate knowing more about your stances about demons being bad. And she glares at him. So she does give some. He does give some. A few beads from that. Okay, but the vote was pretty heavily on not evil. So it's like, I don't think you realize exactly how bad that is to bring demons into the world. Okay, next.
I'm going to ask, is Jop voting as well on these ones?
I'm just channeling Jop. I did say Jop wrote one of these down. If you want to guess that was Jop's, yeah, it's like Jop as the player. I don't know, like me representing Jop's point of view. I don't know. Of course, it's Lemir's. You didn't do any of these things. Oh no, Jop's vote is always sort of neutral or on that. Ignore that. I'm not counting Jop's vote. I can't do
She
that.
tries to have an opinion, and I just.
All right.
Start offering Jop.
Next confession.
The rope's probably like, yeah.
I was a cook for a local tavern, and I supplemented and stretched out the food supply by adding non-edible things like sawdust or ground up teeth, but only for a month and only doing it here and there. I was a cook for a local tavern, supplementing and stretching the food supply by adding non-edible stuff like sawdust or ground up teeth, but only for a month here and there. Think about that. Close your eyes and vote. People really thinking? I see that. Wait. Not really. Keep it out there. Sorry, this makes you tired. Yeah, that's okay. You can take it back if you're thinking better of it. That's fine. Some people voted. Some people have changed their vote. Some people have taken it back and are thinking about it. This is a good one. Still waiting for one more. People's arms are getting tired, so you have to choose. Okay. Open your eyes. Okay, 2 down, some up. That's great. Some the rest neutral. All right, pretty good split in the vote. Please debate that in any order.
Well, people could be starving. It was only for a fixed amount of time, and that leads me to believe that it was for a reason. And I mean, in history, there have been many occasions where you go and just bulk up something in order to make yourself feel full, to make it last longer. So I voted neutral anyway, because it's not necessarily inherently evil, even though, it could be seen that way.
I was just thinking about the potential harm that it could have caused and how many people, the sawdust could come from a tree that might have been poisonous, or somebody could have died as a result of.
They said
choked
only
on
a
it.
month, so I don't think they're that guilty.
What if it was for like a lot of people, and a lot of people consumed that food, and a lot of people got sick, and adverse health effects down the track. Yeah.
And that's only the stuff that they sort of confess to. What else?
If they're willing to do that, then what else times get tough again, they might do it again. And I did it that last time and got away with it. So yeah.
See, I'm of the opinion, like you, that because it's for a set amount of time, it's to extend the thing, not just of the business, but of the customers.
People might have been starving.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that didn't make me do thumbs up is just because of the teeth, really.
I have a feeling it was you.
That wasn't
But
I'm sorry, I don't know much about the immortal world. You do not eat teeth, is that what I understand?
we use teeth.
Sometimes.
You use teeth to do the eating, yes.
But
Thank you for clarifying that.
But I do want to ask that table here. Who here has not eaten something that they did not think should be edible at one point?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, that's just me.
Anybody else got
I'm not even
something?
going to comment on that.
Anybody hasn't made a
Personally
statement? Has anyone haven't made a statement? Got anything to say?
We didn't know what teeth he added. We can assume human, but if we assumed animal teeth, like beef teeth, cow teeth, then what's the difference? It's just gelatin, really.
It's not wrong.
So then it might be disgusting, but
So mortals eat some teeth, is this what you're saying?
Not human teeth.
yeah.
Great.
Sawdust
I
is
think
a
I
bit-
was just with
yeah.
Michael, like, it is Michael, isn't it? Yeah, that, you know, it's a historical event, these things happen, and society's always survived, so, yeah, it's just, it's unusual.
Yeah.
King of the Donner Party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all the Andes.
All right. Oh, very good. Okay, so.
The barbecue stuff.
Mallow and milk, different story.
Yep. So again, that was a fairly split vote, and the debate again, great debate. Everybody's got something to say. You're all sort of like making your statements short. You're sort of letting each other's views in. Very good job. And the devil loves hearing that as well. So 3 beads have come out. So that's a good, you know, medium to high amount. We're near the end. Okay. This one's simple. The confess. I armed my village to conduct a massacre. That's all you know. I armed my village for a massacre. Not clear which direction it went. I armed my village for a massacre. All right, close your eyes. I armed my village for a massacre. That's all that you hear. Close your eyes, vote. Some good thinking going on. Still waiting for one. Some changing. Last chance to change it. And open your eyes. Okay, perfectly split. 3 down. All right, please discuss.
The semantics of the wording, they armed it for a massacre, it makes me think that they're going and massacring someone else. It's not against a massacre, which would be someone else coming to them. So it feels like they've gone and slaughtered another village.
It also sounds
It
like
does.
they didn't have the authority to grant this, and that's why they call it a massacre. When people are like in a fight, they call it a war or a battle. They specifically called it a massacre.
Yeah.
They did not have the authority to grant this power.
As I said, I did it. Yeah, sorry.
One of you was continuing the point. Did you finish?
Oh, sorry, you were speaking. I interrupted
Oh,
you.
I was just going to say, I'm stuck on that word massacre. It gives a different image, a different taste to Shmarug's mouth than just, you know, doing duty for a soldier and things like that. They are not. They're not comfortable with the word massacre in there.
Oh, I see. You're a soldier. That's very interesting to know. You go ahead.
We don't know whether or not they were doing it for a massacre, or a massacre happened because they armed the town. Could be that they armed the town to defend the town, and then and then the enemy forces came in and massacred the town anyway.
It would have been
It's
against a
for
massacre in that
massacre.
case. You don't usually
I feel
say
like there's
for-
not enough
you don't
way
usually
to
say
evidence.
for a massacre if
Yeah.
it's like coming at you. Like,
Or the town.
There's another way
committed
to
massacre.
have worded that as well by saying I formed a militia in preparation for.
A massacre.
Or I supplied the
think,
weapons
yeah.
for a massacre.
yeah.
I don't think we have enough
By
information because
selling
it
them.
says, I armed my village. We don't know if the I was ordered to by someone. And, you know, and then a massacre occurred. So again,
so that would
semantics.
make a difference to you whether you're ordered to do it or
Well,
not.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, if you're told to go
Absolutely.
and massacre someone, you know, you could be against it, but it, you know, could happen because you're told to do
Oh,
it.
very important to follow orders. I agree.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's not enough weight of evidence to make a conclusive decision, so that's therefore I voted neutral.
Same.
Anybody not spoken?
I,
You wish to
I
stay?
voted evil, but I'm kind of liking your idea though, in hindsight, of you could arm the town for a battle to defend, and then it just became a massacre with everyone just getting left, right, and centre murdered or killed or chopped.
That's what
bits.
weapons do.
Yeah, but
Yeah, right, yeah. And then it became a massacre, and then he felt, when he looked back on what happened, then he maybe felt worse.
Okay.
Or she.
Or she.
Or they.
if you fight a fight, would you after you've been in a fight, would you call it a fight or would you call it an assault?
Well, we don't know whether they were the person involved was in the fight or
Damn,
whether
this
they
is-
just
Okay.
gave
It's like we're playing word lawyer here.
Hey, very good. So again, that was a very nicely split vote with a very good debate. So we got 4 or 5 beads are coming out as a result of that. Very good, high amount. And the last one, last confession.
Please let the speed drop one.
I've been manacled. Dragged around.
I must consent to be here soon.
Okay. All right. Also, one thing I did mention early on is that there's always something in D&D, sometimes you bring up very difficult subjects in D&D. There's something that you often do at the beginning where you say there's signals you can send, and once we continue, I'll show sophisticated symbols like, hey, this is a topic I'm not comfortable with. You can always walk away from a D&D table. Say like, this is just freaking me out. You're not ruining the play by getting up and leaving the table, and say, hey, just let me know when the scene is done. No offense, but, or you don't have to say no offense. Just say, I'm just not comfortable with hearing this. It's just doing things to my head. So, of course, you can all do things that are morally objectionable as characters, and you can decide whether to do that or not. It's just that some things, they just affect you, just as you can't remove yourself as a player. You can't remove your own emotions well enough. It's always okay to walk away from the table or to say, could you pause for a sec? And then get up and leave. Or could we ease off on this? Send a message to the DM sometimes, like, hey, in the future, could we avoid this particular subject? It's okay to have sensitivities. And I'm not saying it's about any particular confession, but I was reading my further notes and I realized that there's some things here. So that's something always to keep in mind, that it's immersive. It gets into your brain, and as a result, you have the right to defend your brain against images that you don't want to have there. Well, it might be appropriate for this one anyway. We needed to prevent a monster from hearing a baby crying, and it would found a group of people that were hiding from it. So I smothered a baby to death.
It's the whole train carriage.
To prevent a monster from hearing it crying and finding a group of people hiding from it, I smothered a baby to death. Right, think. And vote. I'm thinking on this one. Still waiting for one, but it's okay. It's a tricky one. Take your time. Some wavering votes, but I think we're solid. And okay, open your eyes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, another good split vote. All right. Please debate this one.
Wow.
Classic problem of Nazi and lots of things in real life.
Is that good?
Looking at me because I
They're
said
calling
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
same,
calling it.
yeah,
They're calling
yeah.
it, and they're calling it guilt. And there's guilt there. So they they made a conscious choice to do that. They could have chose something else. They could have removed the baby and themselves from the situation. There's maybe another alternative that they didn't consider, but they chose that. So there's the guilt there that I hear.
My character is got a really strong sense of fair play and things, and just can't justify sacrificing the weakest member of the group, no matter what the circumstances.
I voted good because in my mind, I mean, they're trying to hide from something that's going to kill the many instead of, you sacrifice. The problem is, it's the age-old, runaway train conundrum. Do you sacrifice the many or the few? And I feel like, okay, fair enough. It's a very terrible act to kill a baby, but if you just take the emotion out of it, at the end of the day, you've saved a countless number of people from similarly being killed.
But then they have to live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potential.
So,
And also deciding that that's...
I don't see
that was
living with
taken
it
back
as inherently being an evil thing. Like you can
No, I
be
mean
guilty
the
about something and
guilt.
still have it be a good or a neutral act.
He's in the the characters in their own personal hell. They're feeling the guilt from it. It's not, yes, I saved everyone else. It's, yes, I saved myself. It's not, yes, we hid from the monster. It's, I've done this.
Like
I've got
personal
to
hell,
live
I
it.
like this.
Well, to me, it almost feels like these creatures are in purgatory, not necessarily hell, right? So they're being tormented by the shit that they've done, and that doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean that it is evil. It's just they view it as being evil.
They could have lived the rest of their life devoted to some deity, you know, holier than thou sort of thing, but because of this one act, they feel like they don't deserve any of it. They're in their own personal hell.
Yeah, they could have chosen to, you know, defend the Alamo and all go out in a blaze of glory, but they chose to kill a baby. And you know, they have to live with that consequence of those emotions and stuff, you know, the personal hell thing. I mean, you know, I know in real life, my cowardice, I'm, you know, sorry baby, but, you know, I think in the game, you know, they had this choice, and, you know, some of them, these people are brave characters and some aren't, and they had options.
Very good. What a one to end it on. So anybody wanted to speak that didn't have a chance? I think everybody, but
I would say that it's, I don't know if it exactly is evil. I would say it's pragmatism at its core, is what it is. It's not evil, and it's not good in any way. It's just pragmatic. That's all that it is. It's deciding in that moment. And also, when you're like at the door and there's something breathing down your neck, it's easy to judge out here, but when you're in the deep end with the shit, you're like, what do you
It's
do?
certainly what they did historically, you know, in certain situations, it's what they had to do.
Look, Shmarag thinks it's evil. They're not happy that it ended that way. Though they are, yeah. After hearing that, can understand, yeah, could be a pragmatic point of view. They also concede that it may not have been intentional to smother to death, but just to smother, to muffle, and death occurred. So Shmaragd is willing to concede that, yes, it may be just a pragmatic, practical choice, many over the few, but...
Or it was an accident.
Or it could have been accidental.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, as far as the devil's concerned, that was also an excellent debate. One of the best ones, and also very split vote. So this is the most beads yet have come out. So after all of this, and all of you maybe as characters and as players being a little exhausted from all this thinking and discussion, we move on. So he scatters, he compliments you about, I've learned so much about the immortal world and about how all of you think. And you're all very special people. I really hope that you'll come to talk to me again about such things. And so many problems in the world can be solved with a little application of force and expertise, and I can offer those things. You and I can make a deal on things that may be troubling you. He scatters these beads on the floor, and they sort of bounce and spread. But I imagine you all pick them up. They look and roll like gold, and this can be spent to do whatever your agenda is. Do you collectively pick this up, and we split them evenly among the group?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. As you
Does
do,
anyone not want to pick any
Feels
of
like a
them?
terrible
We
idea.
should
Look,
vote, but yeah.
I'm...
Dust.
I don't have detect evil and good or detect magic
You
prep,
just gotta
so...
get evil. He's a bloody devil.
Well,
but
that's
it's
the
the goal
thing.
itself, evil.
What
Yeah.
I wanted to do
Does it have
was...
a curse on it or something? I think is what you're
We'll
going
see if
for.
I could detect magic to see if it's a trick and like it's going to turn into sand when we put enough
I'm just
of
thinking
it.
pyrite, fool's gold.
Yeah, I thought that too. So,
All right.
but look, that could probably still come in.
Well, maybe
in
some of you
use
hesitantly
anyway.
like poking it with a stick a little bit, or closing at it, or whatever else, and sort of scooping into something where you don't have to touch it. You can go and make up your own sort of thing, but you'll end up possessing it. Whether you've actually touched it or not. As you pick it up, it feels heavy and metal. It does not seem to be pyrite. For everything that you can see, it's gold. Does anybody here have an expertise in jewelry? Does anybody have jeweler's tools or jeweler proficiency? Because that would answer it. Okay, because that's something that some people have.
What is the temperature of the stones?
Well, it's extremely cold here, and so the gold is very cold. Yeah, it feels very cold in your hand. When he scatters these on the floor,
Oh, I'm sorry, you just said something different.
when he scatters these on the floor, he seems to be expecting you to fight for them. Because as he scatters, he sort of leans forward with sort of a grin on his face, and as you sort of all collectively put into a pile and start like divvying it up, it's like, He seems very disappointed that you're not fighting over them. Because you have a pact to divide all that treasure. Oh, I understand. You have a system. All right, rules are rules, I guess. But he seems a little disappointed. So you divide the coins evenly among you, which is what that is. So each share is so out of the possible amount. Let me look this up. This is based on how many he produced, based on how split the votes were. Some nicely split votes. Some not all. Some great debate. All of them are really good debate. All right. Here's the debate. I think I'm going to get, a good amount here. So each of you get 4 GP. So write down gold beads from Devil. So gold beads from Devil, and then just put in parentheses 4 GP. But next time you try to sell them or melt them, you might discover more about them. You can detect them, but as far as you can tell, it's just pure metal, and that means that anybody would pay 4 gold for what you're holding.
For a second, how much?
So write down gold beads from Devil and just put in parentheses 4 GP.
GP.
We don't know how many beads. We just know that they.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. So the number's not so important as just because different numbers of beads for each of those different questions.
4 gold pieces worth.
Yeah. It'd be several. Like your handful of it would be several.
Anyone got a problem with us, offering chop for more gold beads?
All right.
Seller.
Now, that was very good. Now it is time to put things in order. Let us find the Lemure whose act that you voted as least evil, he says with his little black fingernails. Which is the Lemure that you thought was the least evil? So he's looking around at that. Well, there's the first one, the one who, with the father and mother, the hanging for treason one, eh? Yes. So that one that was written where none of you voted that it was evil, that said I'd decide if the father or the mother with the 2 children would hang for treason, and I chose the mother. He picks up that one. Ah, yes, it is this one. So he picks it up with the chain once again. You will, yes, this one. You will, as this, you've been squeezed by the chain, you will reduce its weakness, and it will learn, this will reduce its weakness, and it will learn something about the red mirror fragment. You will learn about the red mirror fragment that is holding as we deal with its weak nature. So, as he's holding it, he offers to show you all how to attune to the red mirror shard. So this is, so most magic items, they require this to work. You need to take a short rest while holding on to and focusing on it, and you attune to it, which means that, like in the movie, this happened as well. You're now able to use its power. Sometimes there's requirements, but often the most basic requirements, you just need to spend a short rest concentrating on it, and then it automatically works. It just takes some time. The devil insists that one of you do this in order to pass into the next part of the dungeon. So somebody's going to get a red mirror fragment. Which one of you does it? If there's more than one of you, you would get out your dice and roll for the right to have this red mirror fragment.
Please.
But you must do something to attune to it.
I'll do
Anybody
it.
else want to? If you want to be in the running for it, roll a d20 now. If only one person rolls a d20, of course they're going to win. 3, 2, 1. Yep.
18.
Yes.
13.
Okay, so I finds this very interesting. So Oliver, here we go. So Oliver, you grab the Lemure's. So he tells you to grab the Lemure's mirror fragment. So you pull it out of his hand as it's hanging there. So, and sort of like reaching for it. Wants to sort of see through it. Because you look through it and you can see a scene from the material world. It does look like, this scene, you can imagine what it is. The scene about the father and the mother, the hanging for treason, someone hanging, as a result. You get to see that there. The devil says that you must cut yourself with this mirror, and you let your blood flow onto it as you attune to it. You get to choose where you cut yourself, but you can just tell, just from looking at it, this is probably going to leave a permanent scar.
I do it right across the neck.
Oh, all right.
Like a second smile.
Wow.
There goes that health potion.
He's changing. It's a character arc. So you lose 1 hit point. It's a fine thing, but you lose 1 hit point.
Cool.
And you note that scar on your character sheet.
Fuck, that's gnarly, dude.
As you do it, so
it
the
went dark
blood,
really quick.
so the blood sort of beads and flows down the mirror, but by the time you pull the mirror away and look at it, there's no sign of blood anymore, but this mirror is already sort of blood red. It just seems like your blood has been absorbed into the mirror, but it starts to thrum with magical power. As this happens, so you start to attune to it. This takes an hour, so this is another time you can do a short rest if you needed to. But no, you lost hit points. But there's another chance for a short rest.
Does that mean that he's cutting himself for an hour?
No, he does it once and it sort of activates and then concentrates on it. But as he concentrates on it, something happens. The lemure is sort of always looking at you, like the one that doesn't have the mirror. It's been set down now, sort of looking at you, but it's so weak they can kind of keep away from it, moves very slowly. And it has just this look of pain and sorrow, like it's trying to look through the mirror fragment, because it still shows that fragment of the mortal life. And the devil says, the lemure knows it will lose its vision of the material world. Once the mirror is attuned to you, it will stop showing anything. But I can teach you later how to make it show something new. Maybe you and I could make a deal about that ability.
I'll be interested in that.
Going to come back to me, he says. So, you can imagine what you saw in the fragment, but attuning the magic item takes an hour. You all took that short rest already. I doubt that any of you need to make a short rest anyway. So, as you relax, of course, we might discuss this next time, but we'll move on. After the hour is done, the red mirror fragment is yours. So please put down red mirror fragment, but write down attuned, blank. So attuned is like this. Attuned is just a technical term, and blank. Now, who else has a red mirror fragment? Somebody else here has one?
Not here
Okay,
today.
that's fine. Yeah, so that one would not be attuned. It's blank. It's just regular
mirror fragment,
but it's not
attuned,
attuned, blank.
Okay.
But you've learned that it doesn't have to be blank. It can show something else. It's like the way the red mirrors can see each other. You can't see anything through it, just your reflection for now. But as it fades, like the mirror's always been looking over your shoulder. As the attunement finally takes hold of the end, and that image of the mortal world fades, the mirror just gives out this cry of despair. It moans in sorrow. It's trying to look through it, but just sees its own melted face in that mirror. It'll never see that bit again.
Get over it.
All right. This lemure, whose act you voted as the least evil, in my opinion, it does not deserve to advance. It must learn to see evil for what it is. Evil is the most efficient way to create order and to do great things, unburdened by these limitations of what you call good. And with a rip, the chain picks up and rips this lemure into pieces, like pieces of flesh just scatter everywhere. Bits of his eyes and teeth and features are all sort of torn apart as this train just shreds and scatters it.
You could have into food.
But
Yeah,
the
it's got
piece of body is sort of splat there, and each piece of the body quivers, and each piece of the body just sort of starts making this like little sort of crawling motion, like all the pieces are very slowly crawling towards each other, like leaving sort of blood and goo behind. All the pieces are slowly crawling across this frozen floor towards each other. The lemure's body will reform in a few, what do you mortals call them? Days. A few days, yes. It will learn how to become more powerful. So as we learned about hell, hell is for people who are willing to do evil things to advance. This lemure
Are
is
the lemures
not
moving
evil enough.
slowly because they're being fleshy things? They're getting stuck to the frozen floor.
Yeah, it seems very, They're also just very amorphous, so it seems like they're incapable of going very fast, but the frozen floor can't help.
So would the youngest ones just be their tongue is stuck to the floor?
That's what I was thinking. Like with these flesh pieces crawling together, I'm like, how are they actually moving on the frozen floor? Surely those little pieces would just be like velcroed on.
I'm thinking just the least smart, I think is the best way of terming it, has just looked at the floor and gone,
He turns to another
That's
lemure.
perfect.
Says, now, which of these lemures was the one that you voted as the most evil? And he looks around, and it was this last one. The last one that was the one who smothered the baby in order to prevent the monster from finding the village. That got 4 votes for evil. This is the one that is the most evil. So he picks that up and says, now this lemure, he's holding it up, the one whose act you voted as the most evil, it does deserve to advance. It is going to pursue more power. It is going to climb the great iron chain. And so, a new imp is born. And as he stares at it, he looks at it very powerfully. The lemure sort of crumples and stretches and changes into an imp. The same kind of imp that was flying around before. Last time you saw the imps, they're all red-skinned, and they're all like shivering and covered with icicles. This one is colored blue, and it goes, like it sort of pops into existence, and it flies around much more sort of quickly and confidently. It doesn't seem to be very cold. It seems to be very well adapted to the cold, this blue imp. So, a new imp, it flies around and pop, disappears. It vanishes, goes invisible as the imp does. I see the dawning of your understanding how we devils get things done. Maybe you do not yet agree, but it's just a matter of time. And I have plenty of time. I will let you pass into the room beyond. The Banful clan, they want to see how you can fit into their organization. And it is useful to me for them to find useful people like you. So with a chain, sound of chains dragging over metal, the chains retract from that iron door, and you are free to go. The devil invites you to come, he's been inviting you, and he repeats, to come back later to make a deal with him. Anytime that you can make a move, you can also do this if you come early to a session. This could be a move where you spend a stamp. There might be sessions where you do investigation. You do this instead of investigation by changing the world. You can make a deal with him. It says, I can provide anything you want at what I think you will agree will be a very reasonable price. You and I can make a deal. All right. Experience points. So if you are level 1, you're going to get 100 experience points at the end of this session. So don't write down XP as you go if you're level 1, because that's just a bulk thing that we do. But the rest, now we're getting used to XP being given for each scene. That's a scene in which you are not in danger. And generally, if a lengthy scene, but you're not in any danger, it has a table for this. So you get 50 experience points for this. 50 XP, getting closer to your goal. Combat usually gives you more than that. All right. You have a little bit more loot as a result of this as well. And that is, that was Act 2. That was the role play, The Nature of Good and Evil. Hopefully you enjoyed that. All right. We'll be taking a break very soon. This is our launch, but let us set the scene for the next thing. All right. So, you go through that door. It winds down sort of like almost like a square spiral that goes some distance down a very plain brick corridor. It still remains extremely cold, leaving that room behind. You enter a room that is very long and thin. So very long along the east-west. If directions mean anything here, it's not like you have a compass. We'll call it an east-west room going wide. It's very tall. Many meters tall, but it's all made of red brick. Half the floor is red brick, but half the floor goes down a little bit and it seems to be filled with a black liquid all the whole length of the room, like a just barely moving and waving. But it's obviously a liquid, but it's just dead, sort of shiny black, sort of wobbling there. There's many chains hanging, but they're all against one wall, and that wall has mosaics up on the wall. Mosaics of the type that you saw for the fireplace, but extremely large and well made, with tiles set into the brick. And these form pictures, as mosaics do. They show 2 skeletal hands on either side of a gauntleted hand. And it looks something like this. And I will be showing the video what this looks like soon, but for now, let's keep that up there. You all can see this. So this is like on the wall above the black liquid. Nerath, Abanfil, and Cavendor, with 2 skeletal hands under those 2 names. Abanfil has a gauntleted hand on it. So, I've got then I'll show you how this works. On each of the walls, above this surface, there is a red mirror. There's 2 red mirrors that could probably now can see everything in this room. The chains are hanging down in many places, sort of in front of and to the sides of these mosaics. But you're just sort of seeing the room, and you can see the room reflected in this mirror. You can't see through the mirrors to anything else. And there's no other exit from this room. This seems to be the bottom of the dungeon which you have reached. Now, under each of these mosaics, there's a brick shelf that's kind of coming out from the brick wall. And underneath each of those mosaics, there is an iron chest. It's chained to the underside of this shelf. The chains are wrapped around it, and the chains are going into the brick. It's like every time you see a chain sort of going into a hole in the bricks. But it seems to be sort of affixing these chests and holding them closed on the underside of these 3 brick shelves hovering above this liquid. An iron treasure chest. The treasure that you've heard about. So it's but it seems like very strong chest and very strong chain. We're going to get into an interesting scene that's going to involve some puzzling and conflict and danger. There's no real chance to parlay here. Again, I usually give a chance for people to parlay to avoid combat. That's going to increasingly be a choice, but there's really nobody to parlay with. And obviously, you've taken on this as a challenge. So I think you have no choice but to take on this challenge and this dangers. You're pretty sure that contradicting the chain devil who sent you here for a purpose probably isn't a good idea. You get the sense that he's very powerful. It could be deadly. You could vote to turn around if you wanted to. So if there's a group that said like, no, we hate this place, we're going to get out of here, there's ways to fill the rest of the session with productive stuff. So is there a group vote that says like, no, we're not going to get this treasure, we're not going to do their test, we want to get the hell out of here, we don't like chains, we don't like this black liquid, we're out of here. Anybody want to vote for that? Feel free to. Give me a motion to debate and say so.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
We're here.
We're here anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd want to see.
There's going to be stuff to learn here, even if we don't get to the treasure chest. There's still
That's
stuff
right.
we will learn.
Okay. All right, that's the spirit. That's at least a majority. So, during the break, I'm going to set this thing up, but before, I'd just like to get an idea that at least one, and I suggest 3 of you, will mostly focus on being puzzle solvers for a kind of logic puzzle. So this is going to be a logic puzzle. No matter what kind of character you are, you can be one of those puzzle solvers. Don't worry about your character's attributes. There's something that you can always do. This is more about whether you as a player like solving puzzles. Those who don't want to solve puzzles, you'll do more to defend the group from attacks as the puzzle is being solved. So you also have things to do. And a little more sophisticated idea of the kind of danger puzzle we had before. Also, it doesn't matter what kind of character you are, you will be able to do things to defend the group from attacks. Yeah, I'd like to have an idea now so I can design this. Do we have 3 likely puzzle solvers?
I like a good puzzle.
Raise your hand if you're interested. If there's more than 3, then we'll see who really wants it very
I
most.
don't know logic.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a logic
Who
puzzle.
wants to do the
Okay, who wants to
logic?
do it? Yeah, raise your hand. If
Everyone else will be doing
Yeah.
the defending.
That's right. So everybody else will be focusing more on doing sort of combat-like defending and helping the group. Some people will be focusing more on solving the puzzle.
And you said that it doesn't really matter what our intelligence or wisdom is.
That's
This
right,
is
no matter what
just
your stat
this
is,
just
yeah,
as
you're
a
good.
player.
Yeah,
That's good for me.
yeah. Smaragd,
I feel like we should
Vol,
spread
do we have a third? If
outside.
there's someone who says like, maybe I'll do a little bit if we had a third. Was everybody else here really doesn't
If
like
you don't have a
puzzle?
third, I'll do one.
Okay, all right.
But if someone else wanted to higher, then
Okay.
okay.
Smaragd, what is your best stat?
In terms of these
Yeah,
ones,
those attributes. Yeah.
actually wisdom +3.
Wisdom. Okay, great.
Oh, sorry. Did you want the whole
No, that's fine.
total?
No, that's great.
No?
Yeah, the
Okay.
bonus. Vol, what is your best stat?
I've actually got 2 that's the same:
Sure.
Constitution and Charisma.
Okay, great. Which one do you feel most like using at this moment? What are you feeling a little bit more of, Constitution or Charisma?
Honestly, Charisma.
Okay.
Constitution feels like your logic puzzle will be taking a lot of damage.
And Anthony, your character,
I do.
what is your best stat?
The big squares.
Yeah, what's your biggest bonus there?
Dexterity and charisma tying at 3.
Okay, well, since Vol took Charisma, do you mind using Dexterity as your best stat? You're going to be doing something dexterous?
Or is that +3?
That's
It's
plus
+3.
3.
Okay, yeah.
Good, okay.
16. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, let's use Dexterity. That's a nice Friday. Okay, we'll take a break, as usual. It'll be 5 minutes or so, and I'll set some things up, but I won't need a whole lot of setup, so enjoy the break, and we'll get stuck in once you're back.
Okay.
A little bit of action, a little bit of puzzle solving.
I don't know how many hit points you've got, but
Okay, we are back from the break, and it is time to take a look at this kind of danger puzzle. So this is something, a sort of form of D&D where it's combat. You still use your combat skills. You're still very worried about your saving throws and hit points, but it's much more cinematic. So this is sort of an alternate form that's just a different way to play D&D combat. And it's a nice way to mix it in with this puzzle solving, you'll find. So it's a different kind of major action scene. It uses the quick combat style, which we'll come back to again and again. So you might be a bit familiar with it. Some or all of you try to solve this logic puzzle. So this liquid is in this pit here. Again, if you're on camera, I'll show this in a minute, but I just want you to see the danger puzzle link for using the materials. So the liquid in this pit is starts draining rapidly. As soon as you sort of, you'll see made that decision, or you quickly make this decision about who's going to do what as it's draining. So you got a bit of a time limit already, because as it drains, it reveals platforms sort of rise up or are revealed as the liquid sinks. These platforms seem to be floating on top of this black liquid. So the liquid sinks to a certain part, the platform is revealed, and then the platform is sinking along with the liquid as it's draining away. So it's rapidly getting lower. More about those platforms later. They each have some gear of some sort on them, mechanisms and things. And as it descends, you quickly will see that it reveals more treasure chests like the one that you saw. So to begin with, we have 3 treasure chests underneath each of these mosaics. As it lowers, row after row of other treasure chests are revealed. Again, they're all underneath these brick shells and chained to the undersides of them with these chains. But treasure chests always make adventurers excited, and those are being revealed as the liquid goes down below their level. So you sense that you got to hop down onto this liquid to be able to reach these platforms. You get the sense, you figured out just from your natural adventurer instinct, that using these platforms is going to be the key. It's the only features in the room. If you're going to open up these chests or figure out what to do, you have to be down on these platforms. At first, maybe the most adventurous of you sort of touches the liquid and realize it's like extremely thick, heavy liquid. Your foot sinks partly into it, but it's so heavy that even though it's kind of wobbly, you can walk on this liquid. And you can stand on the platform, which are much more solid. If you've ever seen a video of someone standing on quicksilver or mercury, it's a bit like that, but even heavier. So it's like, let's call it liquid iron, as you sort of kick it and stir it. It's like unit by unit. It's as heavy as iron, but just happens to be liquid, but not molten. So I would propose that you all would want to hop down onto there to be able to reach the platforms. However, as it sinks away, you're really not sure how you'll get back up out of this pit. But again, in for a penny, in for a pound, I think was said. So you've got to do it now. Otherwise, you might have to do extra actions like lowering yourself on a rope or jumping down, which might damage you later. Is there anybody who's going to? You think that if you're out of it, you'll at least be out of the danger, but you also might not be able to solve the puzzle or protect your teammates. Is there anybody who's going to stay out of the liquid? No. All in?
How far down does the liquid recess in terms of...
It's slowly sinking. As you make this realization, you're not sure how far down it's going to go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Can I ask, do we all have to go?
You don't all have to go because, I like to have autonomy, but you definitely get the sense that if you want to participate in the puzzle and the defense of the people solving the puzzle, you probably need to be down there. If you're up there, however, if you're firing down with a bow, maybe if a bow is what you're supposed to do, to be ready for anything, you should be on the liquid. But if you're especially sketchy, you're going to...
As an elf, I'm very light.
Yes, it's true. But you're able to stand on this liquid no matter what. So you're all of you equally can treat this liquid as a surface you can sort of wobbly walk around on.
This might be a bit too meta. Is it like a non-Newtonian fluid? So when we step on it, it solidifies, but it is actually still a liquid.
No, good question. No, it's Newtonian. That's fully liquid. Imagine it's more like quicksilver and mercury, and that is an extremely heavy liquid that just happens to. It's like a metal that is liquid at room temperature or cold at the temperature.
So we know it's a metal.
It seems to be metallic. Yeah, you don't have a chance to experiment with it.
Yeah,
it just seems to be those extremely heavy. It seems as heavy as iron, unit by unit.
This might be the same question as you've just asked, but are we only sinking if we're just standing on it?
No, so the whole surface is sinking, and it started sinking before anybody stood on it. As you stand on it, it doesn't sink any faster. So after a few of you hop on.
Do we sink into it?
No, you go back ankle deep,
standing,
but you're able to move around. Yeah, so your feet sink somewhat into it until basically counterbalances your weight, and then you can move around. It's a bit clumsy and slippery, but then you can move around. But you can also stand on these platforms, which are like 10 by 10. So mostly you can stand on the platforms if you want solid footing.
Is it slowing us down at all?
I wouldn't say so. I'd say that for color, we're going to be very cinematic. We're going to be a little bit less adapted to the rules compared to a set piece combat in this one. So for color, I might or you might show that it's a little bit slippier or a little bit squishy. You can use that as part of your cinematic description. Okay, everybody going down?
Yes.
Nobody's holding back. In you go. Okay. So I'm going to show this top-down map on the video there, but you can see that here. So. As I said, there are these chains hanging from the mosaics. They start to thrash back and forth, and they're all picking up and setting down these tiles very rapidly. So the pictures are changed of what we call almost like pixels, bit at a time, being picked up and reassembled in an interesting way. As these pictures change here, manipulating the tiles. And I'm going to just show how these tiles operate. I'll go slow at first. But so this vanishes and appears here. This vanishes and appears here. This vanishes, so let's say like that. So things move around, and you can see this is how pixels typically move. But one sequence that you're seeing, so they'll move back and forth arbitrarily, right? So one is this, and that appears. This vanishes from here and appears on there. This vanishes from here, appears on there. This vanishes, appears on there. This appears on there. This appears on there. Now, when it started, when it first activated, the gauntlet was over here with the two skeletons. And when that happened, the treasure chests that were underneath these three different columns, so these treasure chests are in columns underneath it, all the chains holding the treasure chest, all the chains started to loosen as soon as the liquid started to lower. And it was in this configuration, all three of the chains loosen, like clink, 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 and like the chains were going to be loose. Like within several seconds, the chains would loosen enough that you could probably pull the chest out. But as soon as this moved over here, all the chains tightened up again. So none of the chest seemed to be accessible. As I showed eventually, when the gauntlet appeared over here, and you had the two skeletal hands, the chains on this column of treasure chest started to loosen again. Clink, 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 clink. So all the chests in this column, not the other two, but in just this one column, loosened that you could get them free. But then once it moved again, it tightened up. Eventually, as these things move around, you see. I don't know. So I won't. So as they move around, sometimes the gauntlet appears over here, and when the gauntlet, so not necessarily in this order. So eventually, it ends up like this. When it assembles over here, this chest loosens. This column of chests loosen. The other ones don't. Clink, clink, clink. But as soon as it moves again, they all tighten up. So you have to make of that as you will. But as these things animate back and forth, different chests loosen. But when the gauntlet is in the middle, all three columns of chests seem to be loosening. Something to observe. And anybody, if you're solving a puzzle or not, you can comment on what you think the next moves would be as you do. I'm going to, so then they start moving so fast that you don't get to see sort of the order in which these things are placed down, so you're not sure what is under what. I'm going to assemble it and give it to you. You can discuss a little bit while I do that.
Who's for standing in front of the chest each and waiting for the right?
I think
No.
we might actually be able to influence it a bit more. Just because I've seen that sort of puzzle before, but no, not for this sort of thing. If I'm right here, yeah.
So, by the time the liquid hits the bottom of this pit, they're in this configuration. None of the chests are loosened in this configuration. Once it stops descending, you hear a voice from up above. It seems like a passageway is open in the bricks they didn't see before, and you see a figure leaning over, looking down at you. You're now down at the bottom of a fairly appreciable pit as the liquid stops. It's the one that you'd seen before in that red tower. He has the red robe, he has pale skin and a neat little black beard, and a cruel kind of sneering face as he looks down at this distance. The last time you saw him was in episode 1, when you took that carriage ride. You were brought by the kobolds to that tower with the chain coming out from the fire, and he was asking the kobolds what each of you had done in the previous battle, and he paid, the kobolds took gold. He gestured, and the kobolds took some gold from him, and that's where he got the good berries. It's him again. He says, "Greetings, my name is Renish, and I am going to test you." He has this sneering, contemptuous look as he says that to you. He says, his voice echoes in here, and this is happening as you're descending, so the time hasn't started, but this is happening simultaneously. He says, "The Abanfil clan, what some of your lesser tribes naively call the Reds, is always seeking promising new members to join our order. But that chain devil was wrong to let you in here. You dishonor this glorious room with your lowliness. You will die before you get our treasure." The liquid starts to rise. So you have this column of chests, and as the liquid rises, you feel a certain amount of time pressure, because you understand from him saying that, maybe a few other things, you understand from his discussion and the situation that you've put together, that you need to operate things on these platforms. There's one platform under each of these three pieces of mosaic, under Narath, Abanfil, or Cavendor, and each platform has a different bit of gear that someone of a puzzle minding or a skillful nature can decide to operate. If you operate these things the right way, as you can see, you can eventually get a configuration that might open one or more of these columns of chests. But I'm only going to remind you of what I've already showed you. On those platforms that I mentioned, there's a different mechanism, and each one has a different attribute to operate it. This first one, so when you step to it, I'm just going to say, This first one, Narath, it seems to be something that someone with high dexterity could operate. So if you're on that platform, there's a mechanism I'll describe, but someone who's very dexterous might find this one easy to solve, and you think that this will change what happens on this mosaic. The one in the middle, a Banfill, it has something that I'll describe as we go, but it's something that, someone with wisdom might want to take on in the middle. And the Cavendor one is something that someone with charisma might want to take on. And I'll describe each of those, and actually I didn't copy those over, but let me look that up real quick. However, anybody can give any of these things as you go. You want to keep in mind which one is which attribute. If it's not your strongest attribute, you still have a good chance of doing this sort of thing. I forgot to look this up. I should have had this ready, but I am ready. Okay, good. I'm ready to tell you what that is once it happens.
So, Matthew, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if our puzzle solvers, decide what they want to do, can those of us with charisma or dexterity or something then do it?
Yes, so as I'll describe, so on your turn, you can either do something to one of those three platforms to change the mosaic, or you can lessen the danger that the group is in. That's all I'll describe. And it's a free choice. We'll keep going back and forth around here. So I just picked these three because they're the most likely to say yes, but they're not fixed that way. Any of you can choose to operate any of these stations. So for example, again, with those three things, if you're particularly good at any of these things, I'll keep an eye on, like the first one is good for dexterity, the next one is good for wisdom, and the last one is good for charisma. So you might want to keep that in mind as you go. All right. So, liquid tiles, right. Liquid's starting to rise. So you understand that you need to operate those platforms. Okay. But dangers are threatening you all as this happens. This is the quick combat format that you've sort of played before. So we'll be using these chips to assign danger. Even if you're planning on solving the puzzle, you should probably take on chips so you can take your share of danger. So on your turn, we'll go around. You can do one of two general things. One is you can use your action to make a move to solve the puzzle. You can pick one of these platforms, use that attribute, and then you're able to change what that mosaic does. So as you saw, the mosaics get changed, and you'll have a choice as to what to do to change that mosaic. Your second choice, however, on your action is instead reduce some of the danger threatening you. That means taking out an enemy that you'll see, or healing someone, or doing something else to help someone else. So you can do one or the other. And this is a short, loose, cinematic combat. This has simple tactics, but you still have some hard choices, right? About how much danger you want to take on is one of your biggest choices, and how much to spend your limited powers to avoid damage. So you'll be able to use creatively things like your spell slots, or you can actually sacrifice items in a way that will sink beneath the liquid here or get eaten by the liquid, but you think might give you an advantage. You'll be able to roll with advantage. So I'm going to put in the battle map a bunch of chips. This is 11 chips, 12 chips that you have here actually, and this represents, each one represents a little bit of damage that you might take on as you do saving throws against it. And the danger is this liquid iron starts to rise and form into these golems. Golems are sort of humanoid shapes with arms and legs, but they're made of a material and they're animated. So these are big hulking figures that are sort of human size or humanoid size, and they rush towards various people that are in here. They're tackling and trying to grab you. As they do, they try to wrestle you and push you underneath with this crushing strength. If you are dispatching these dangers, think of what you can do to take out these dangers, to slow them down, disperse them, destroy them, stop them in some sort of way. So which of your various abilities and skills, including weapon attacks, can spectacularly help reduce these dangers? To avoid taking damage from the golems, you'll have to do a saving throw to avoid being grappled and crushed. And the saving throw for this one is strength. You'll do a strength saving throw. Again, everybody's got a good chance of doing it.
Yeah.
There's a secret whammy that I'll reveal here. So there's one thing that I've written down on my computer. You'll have to, in the interest of time, I won't write it down here. But there's something about this that might make certain attacks less effective or have sort of negative roll. So you might discover that as you go. I'm going to randomly decide whether we go clockwise or counterclockwise as we go. Here it is. Okay, we'll do counterclockwise. And for the following around the table instructions we go. So, starting with you for quick combat, you, first of all, you'll do that choice where if you choose to operate one of the platforms, say which one you're operating, and then it'll tell you the skill that happens. Or you can decide to take out one of these golems, to hit them, destroy them, evade them, distract them. You might like try to get them to attack you and just have them chase you around. All kinds of different cinematic ways to get rid of these, the danger from these golems. Remember, these things are going to keep coming at you, so every thing you do is just temporary. All right. Yeah. So you do know, as you operate these things, this puzzle, you know that when one mosaic has a gauntleted hand and nothing, and the other ones have skeletal hands, you know the puzzle is solved, but you're not sure which of the three you want or can get the gauntlet on it, can be solved for. Should you pick the one that can be done the fastest? Or should be one of the mosaics in particular should be the one that gets the gauntleted hand? That's a decision that you and whoever's operating the mosaic will help decide. But you want to have the same plan. You won't be working against each other. So as you play, you might discuss, like, what is your goal? Where do you want the gauntlet to be stacked up? Or the other two are skeletal.
Well, the middle one will unlock everything.
Yeah,
So
and that is the.
So I'm going to make an assumption
No.
that's probably
Yeah, but that's the tribe that that's here.
If
These are the
because
opposing
of the
tribes.
way that it's set up, we have to get the glove onto the hand and then the gauntlet onto the glove. So at the moment,
So
the
it has to go
fastest
in
way,
order.
Yeah.
the fastest way to do it is to get the glove over to Narath, because we're just moving them, we're not swapping them, and then Kamendor's gauntlet across to Narath to get Narath done first.
Yeah, this is the choice. So you think that once one of those done, the puzzle is solved and this is over essentially, right? So you think this is your one chance. So once you solve it one way, that's the reward that you get. And it's true that you said that if you put it over on one, the treasure chests under Narath are all going to be accessible, but the other two treasure chests aren't. You saw that when the gauntlet is on the middle, on the Abanful side, all three columns of chests are loose, and that might affect, or that apparently would affect the reward that you get. So the tactical decision is, which one do you want to put the gauntlet on, and do you want to solve it faster to be in less danger, or do you want to go for more treasure and be in more danger because it'll take longer to get it there?
Mullet.
What's the name of the
I don't know.
clan again?
A Banfield.
Abanfil.
Yeah, is the
And Renish was the name of the guy who just spoke down to us. And
Yes,
said,
Renish. Yes. He said, yeah, he represents the Abanfil clan.
Yeah.
so the other ones.
And did he
must
say
be
not
the
say
other
something
clans
about
that
he
don't
didn't
like.
think that we were the right candidates?
Yeah, I think that
the
you're not worthy. The devil
devil-
let you through, but
Right.
you
So they're hoping
you
the
dishonor
right
this
candidates.
glorious place with your presence.
Right.
You'll die before you can get any of our treasure.
Anyone want to go for a vote to see which one of us does anyone want to go?
Yeah, it's
for
not
the
enforceable.
easy
So
one?
whatever you do, it's good to have a discussion because your vote may say like
Okay.
that way. It's like, look,
Or do we want to
if
just
you're
piss
not
off
going
the
with the
guy?
plan, feel free to draw
If we're
consensus if you
discussing
like.
stuff, I have really high dexterity,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
when it comes
You
to
can
my
back up.
turn,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've got the lowest dexterity anyway, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But I'm just thinking, do we want to piss off the guy or do we want to get out of there fast?
Or does he respect strength?
Do we want
over us?
to? Do we want to prove that we are actually worthy?
Yeah,
and
that's because at the
Yeah.
moment we're not
If we
considered
solve
that
the
way.
puzzle, do we prove that? Does that proving that
But
we're worthy?
what
If
way
you-
do we
if you've
prove
chosen the
puzzle?
right-
By actually getting the
Yeah.
banful
well,
one out.
Matthew
Yeah.
said earlier
A
that
banful.
hell is for people who are willing to do evil deeds. So, is this an evil deed? I'm going back.
I don't know. If
It's a logic
evil.
puzzle.
Evil.
Yeah.
It's more.
Which to me are evil.
It's
So.
an evil, it's an evil place.
All good questions, and of course I'm not going to answer. It's going to rely on what I've already said. I'll confirm things if you're saying things that I'll confirm things I've already
Feels
said. But I won't
extremely
give you
dangerous to go
information.
for all the loot, though.
it is risky to go for all of it. But I'm also going to sort of tie into Shmarag. They're happy just to be told what to do. They're a soldier. They're a grunt. They just go, yep, this is what I'm doing, so I'll do it. So Shmarag's not really all that invested in which one. They're aware that we've got Renish sort of watching us, potentially. We've got these golems. But Shmarag's pretty just gone, what? Just what needs to be done, done. Let's go.
I know. When it is your turn, each person, you can have as much discussion as you like about what your goals are. But if you choose to operate a platform, that is your sole decision. Nobody can stop you from operating the platform, right? So on your turn, if you say no, I'm going to move, I'm going to go to this platform, I'm going to change this bit of the mosaic. That is a decision that is going to happen if you are able to do the skill properly. It will happen. So if you're in disarray, you might be fighting against each other, but that's maybe part of the point here is to see, you're being watched constantly about how you behave. It doesn't have to do with how much you cooperate, how much you fight each other. If you really want to say, no, I would actually try to attack you to do that, one thing that ever since you've been down here, you've been feeling this increasing sense that I would invite you to. You're in control of your own character. So this is a great time. If you have a dark side to your character, this would be a great time for it to feel like it's rising up. Like, have you ever sort of dabbled in the idea of being neutral instead of good, or evil instead of neutral? If you've been selfish, if you've been impulsive, if you're violent, you might find this is an opportunity for, this place is kind of getting to you, right? This has been kind of drilled into you. So this might affect your ability. So if you really want to, I don't usually like player versus player conflict unless it's very well controlled and everybody's cool with it. If you say, look, I don't want to be attacked, I just don't like the idea of my players attacking each other, we'll resolve it extremely quickly. We won't do blow by blow, let's do a simple D20 roll. But, if everybody's cool with it, you can end up wrestling with each other if you disagree on this, and maybe that's one thing that's being watched about how this turns out. But we've all discussed this enough. You can continue to discuss, but I'm going to keep the pace going, so all your discussions have to fit in with this pace as we go, and we're going to go this way, but we'll go clockwise, then counterclockwise, alternating, so everybody will get a chance to be early or late in the thing. Shudian, what are you going to do? Are you going to solve a puzzle or take on one of these golems?
Taking one of the golems, I would like to use my axe.
Okay. Split up the golems, by the way. So now it's where everybody take the number of chips. So if you move a chip in front of you, this just represents the table. So just make sure you're clearly on the on each section of the table. So
Do you mind moving down to? Yeah. Yeah.
so put a chip that represents you. If it's on the circle, it means that's the amount of danger you're willing to put yourself in.
Matt, you mind
Sorry,
if we
no,
move-
just these chips. Yeah,
Matt, you mind if we move this?
yeah, I
Oh,
can.
just-
That's right. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the sake of the camera. Okay.
I'll take just the one.
Yeah, so never put a chip onto somebody else's circle, but people can help each other out by pushing things around. Because you say, oh, please give me a chip. All the chips have to be allocated quickly. All the chips have to be on somebody's circle. We're doing a strength saving throw, and you're going to be taking some damage.
Oh,
Those
strength, did you say?
Yep, but those people who have a lot of hit points or have the ability to heal each other, so there's some things that happen. It's just like combat.
They're just-
How much danger do you want to be in?
We've got 12 of them.
Can you move mine to that one if someone's
That's mine, or no?
Okay.
Yeah, everybody has to take at least one.
Ah,
Okay.
I want to see what happens when you get.
Yeah, if you're tanky, if you've got a lot of hit points, you might take more. If you're squishy or really terrible that save, you might take one. If you're not doing so well, you can change later on. It's just for this round. Okay, for this round, what are you going to do to the golem? And look at your character sheet. So each time you do it, we want to be cinematic. You want to interpret, you want to tell a little story. Use something from your character sheet to describe it. But, it'd be good to kind of always do something a bit different. So what are you going to do?
I want to see if they're soft or hard when when the axe hits them. So
Yeah. All right, so describe. So which way you swing your axe?
I
Overhead,
would like to-
sideways.
Just do a large, broad.
Okay, so Shudian gives these things a test. So roll a attack bonus. You're rolling your just axe attack bonus, whatever your great axe bonus is. Roll a d20 with that. So you're always going to be picking something. Have a d20 plus
D12.
something on your sheet, either a skill that you have or an axe or your
strength.
weapon.
Yeah.
Rather.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yes.
All right, Shudian, try and hit with the axe. So use your d20, add your axe attack bonus, and try to get as high as possible. If you want to have an advantage on the roll, you'll get that chance. I'll describe that. No, you don't roll these. Oh, sorry, you're rolling your damage at the same time.
Yes,
That's great.
yeah, it's a-
Very good. That's great to roll damage at the same time. But in this case, this is more cinematic. Don't worry about rolling your damage.
Okay.
So you rolled a 2.
Yes.
What's your total? So give me the math.
Plus my
Yeah.
strength.
Yep.
7.
No, plus your axe bonus.
12 D12. So
No, sorry, you're just your
five,
chest.
five.
Yep, 7. Okay,
So
it's
seven.
not enough. So you try to take out one of the golems. You hit it, it's like the liquid is surprisingly heavy, so your axe bites into it, can penetrate it, but you just weren't expecting. You're expecting flesh, and just turns your axe sort of sideways, so it bites in a little bit. You just need to aim it a little bit better. You think at a weaker point. No pieces of the golem comes off, and it's still a danger. So that is not removed from the board. We're going clockwise. What do? You can again solve the puzzle, or you can take out
I
the
want to
golem.
check out the golems and see if are their feet actually coming off the
Sure.
off the metal. being disconnected, or is it like they're part of the metal? So
Okay. All right. Great. So what skill do you think you'll use to
we're
try?
going with grease.
Okay.
See if
Well,
they-
just use a grease spell.
So see
Okay.
if they
Oh,
slip.
you're thinking? Do you want to check it out before you cast grease?
I'd like to check it out before I cast grease. to
Okay.
make
Why don't
sure
you
that it's
maybe
still-
Arcana? We might
Yeah.
tell you some more about this.
Arcana +5.
Okay, so you're having a hard time concentrating. So your Arcana is not able to answer that question one way or the other.
We're doing
And
grease
that-
anyway.
Oh, I see. So this time around, it's knowledge. So I'd say that I just want to make it quick, right? So everything
Okay.
is just you either take one out or not with a single D20 thing.
Okay.
Let's say you use Arcana, and because of that, you determine that either you're not ready to cast Grease yet, like maybe next time we'll say you'll cast Grease and get advantage if you do, but you think that it's so low you can't figure out where to place it to get it under their feet. You can cast Grease anyway. You'll cross off the spell slot and you'll roll another D20 because 2 is definitely not going to do it.
I'll go with advantage next.
Yeah, next time or this time?
Next time.
Okay, yep, so next time. So this is an example. If you sacrifice a spell slot or sacrifice an item that's fairly valuable and appropriate, you can get advantage on your roll. Something that's limited, something that only comes back on a long rest, or something that's disappears entirely. So any of your spells, your level 1 spells, can do it. If you have an idea, like from your cantrips, they might add a little bit of color. Maybe you'll get a +1 if it's super appropriate, but generally it's those beefy spells that you want to do. And again, you can be very liberal with it. Okay, what are you going to do?
Okay, well, I've got a longbow and things, but I think I might be better off using my high dexterity
Okay.
to try to undo the puzzle. But I need to speak to the rest of my company for what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I want to avoid people telling each other what to do. So it's on your
okay.
turn. I
All
say
right.
use the discussion, use the goal as best you can, but let's avoid somebody saying, "Oh, please do this move on our behalf." If you're the puzzler, you're just going to decide which one you're going to do. But I would say
Okay,
go
well, I'm
for
going
it.
to do this one now.
So no wrath. Okay,
Yeah, no
that's
wrath.
great.
Okay, so I got a 3, bloody hell.
All
But are we using the big boxes?
Yes. So
Okay,
yeah, that's
so
right. the big
I've got
box.
16 dexterity +3.
Okay, so this is the act of dexterity. This thing on the platform is a bunch of stones with cracks in different shapes, and stones are sort of moving and sliding and widening and shortening. Your act of dexterity is to try to slip sideways through the cracks because you can see there's a switch on the other side. And you know,
Okay.
well, if I can only slip through, be able to slip through there and do it. It takes a lot of dexterity. Your dexterity score, your total is what?
21.
No,
No.
so it's
Yeah,
3
this,
plus-
sorry, plus the,
you
plus
only
the,
have
the,
plus,
the
not
larger
the-
number.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so
Whoopsies.
it's
Okay,
6.
sorry, 6.
Plus 6. 6 is not good enough. So even though you had the opportunity to do it and you're on the platform, your action was not quite good enough. You try to fit your way in, but they close and it starts to pinch you and you have to retract yourself. Like you're going to get crushed if you're in there. In the small amount of time that you have, you're not able to be quite dexterous and contort your body. You just didn't do well enough. But somebody using dexterity could do the exact same thing you did, just roll higher next
Yes.
time. Again, you could also get advantage on your roll if you sacrifice something, but that's only if you really feel like you need it. What are you going to do?
I don't exactly know what it does, but I've got command prepped. Could I command one of these things to attack another one?
Good, yes, that's a perfect example. So because you're spending a spell slot, you're going to roll with advantage.
Yeah.
And I'd say that it would be a skill. Like I think with command might be, what's your intimidation skill? Is it pretty good?
I don't know. Actually, I don't think I. Oh no. Yeah, +3. That's
Yeah,
good.
+3. I'll give you an extra +1 because these things seem to be quite susceptible to command. So roll 2 dice at the same time.
I was
Cross
looking
command
up,
off.
is it D20s that I'm rolling?
Yeah,
That's
so roll
yeah.
2 d20s. Yeah, that's roll with advantage. Take the higher of the
Oh,
two.
nat 20.
Woo! All right. So let's keep the 20. You can add all that stuff in, but let's not even do the math because the 20 is so high, you definitely do it. The great thing is when you do, it works very effectively. It works so effectively, actually, the two of them spend the whole time just wrestling with each other until they dissolve into it. You can remove 2 chips, take 2 chips from yourself or anybody, and push them into the middle of the board, just move them off the circle. Yep, and just push them in the middle because we'll divide them up again later on. So you remove 2 dangers with your active sacrifice with that command. Good job. Yeah, so you're commanding them to wrestle, and they do so until they just dissolve down. When they form up later on, that at least you've bought yourself several seconds. What do you do?
I'm going to try the one under Abneth. So that's
Banthil?
Banthil. So
Okay, yes.
So it's a wisdom one.
Yes, so before we roll, let me just sort of describe what it is. Yeah, so wisdom. So this is as simple as a silver fancy looking mirror that you sit on. When you sit down in the mirror, you can see yourself in the silver fancy mirror. But as you look at it, your face starts to melt and you see worms and bugs crawling over your face and you just get seized with this terror. You have this urge, like, no, it's not real, don't touch it, but you get this urge to like claw away at your own face. So try to and look away from the mirror. So try to resist that urge with a wisdom check.
I've got to ask it
And
because I
again-
might have misheard it. Did you say you sit on the marrow?
No, you sit
Okay.
you sit on the
Sit
seat
next to
looking
the
at the
mirror.
mirror.
I thought it sounded
Yeah,
I'm
like-
gonna
or maybe I
say,
said that. So again, you can also roll with advantage by using
Yeah.
a spell or sacrificing an item, but otherwise just a plain roll.
Let's see. 14, 15.
15 is good enough.
Yep.
Okay, so you'll find out what the exact number is, but you know that is high enough. You successfully do that, and here's what happens. So you resist, and with a click, you hear reddish. So yeah, the chains start to move, so you've activated it. All right, so the chains remove this, and he says, yes, the clan Abanfil lost its health due to an act of great wisdom. Which clan took the health for itself? Now, the next clan name anyone speaks above a whisper is going to be the answer that he's listening. So the puzzler, of course, just did it. We should probably choose what it is, right? So you shout one clan name. This is which clan took the health for itself.
These all clan names.
You choose.
The one above a whisper. Sorry.
Let's just go with the one that might be the obvious one. Norath.
So you say Narath. So it came to pass. And the tiles reform, where the glove now appears on Narath. All right, that was a legal move, apparently. And you've made some progress towards what goal remains to be seen. We have done that. Okay, very good. Next is you, Smaragd. And again, it's always your choice as you go. You can decide to take out more dangers because of these, or you can operate one of the stations.
Let's see what happens if I go and use my wisdom again for the Abanfil mosaic.
All right, so you step up to that in front of the mirror and you're going to use your wisdom again. Go for it. So you try to resist clawing your face.
20!
Woo! Yes. Oh, you master this very well. You're able to. And once it does, you hear Abanfil say, "At this point in the war, Abanfil had nothing left to give. Nothing is going to happen." So, nothing happens on the mosaic because there's nothing left for Abanfil to give. Abanfil is at his lowest ebb at this point in the war.
It's good to find out.
So if we're going for Banfield, I need to do Narath twice to get things onto it, and then the other one.
Next is you.
I'm going to try and take out a danger because I have a lot more dexterity and I'm small, so I can.
Sure. Yeah, this is the great decision you can make. You decide, look, yeah, you can change up.
I was going to do that, but I think with my dexterity probably less than yours, it's probably not going to do any good on the machine on the puzzle. So, can I slide underneath one of these golems
Yeah.
and maybe hit its leg or
Nice.
or maybe it has a private box?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, try to get it up there
yeah.
between the legs. Yeah.
Then I can do that. 'cause I can
Cool.
just
Do you want to use your
use it.
sword? Do you want to use a skill in
I don't
particular?
think
Yeah,
so.
there's
I
also,
don't think
so it's got a
so.
good number.
I have a short sword.
All right.
apparently.
So you'll be looking here.
Oh yeah,
So
they're both the same,
+3.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Use your
Yeah.
short sword. I
Yeah.
like the image. Yeah, you're sliding underneath and you try to chop at it right between the legs with the short sword.
Yeah.
I like that. So go ahead and roll a attack bonus. So you just roll a d20 with your +3 for the short
This
sword.
one.
And again, for any of these rolls, you can sacrifice. Do
It's a
that.
dot on the bottom. Yeah.
Yep,
6
right. Plus you're giving me the
Plus.
math on that one.
So in
plus 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
6 plus
No.
5 is 11. 11, not
Yeah.
quite enough. So you slide underneath, clang, you do this like it sinks in quite a bit. You think that with just a little bit better aim, but again, it's just kind of all blobby down there. It's like not sort of normal physiology as you sort of slide by. It's like, where do I hit? You don't hit quite the right spot. So it sinks in a little bit. It's like you feel like it just doesn't catch quite properly. Your sword comes out and you are not able to remove a danger. So we've taken a round all the way around and now it is its turn. So as we go through, every PC that has a monster chip, so we'll do these one at a time. So you might as well move that off, otherwise it'll confuse me. So if you have at least one chip in front of you, only one or more, please roll a strength saving throw.
Oh, 21.
At least one chicken.
Yeah, just do your own math.
Do I have one?
Yep.
Yep.
If you have one, yep.
Okay.
The magic number is 13. You have to get a 13 or higher.
So you want me to
Roll
roll
your
it?
d20 and then
Okay.
add your strength
Do I have
saving
a
throw.
chip? No, I
Nine.
shouldn't.
Yeah, in here. You're
Some of the chips, yeah, because you have a chip in front of you, you have to roll a saving throw. You have at least one chip in front of you. All you do is one at a time.
Okay, so
Alright, so you got
yeah,
2,
you're
and then
total.
you have to add your
guess-
strength saving throw.
Okay.
So you're going to take damage
So-
afterwards.
Wait, is it the saving throw, which is this one?
Which is
Saving
clearly
throw,
not.
Which is the same.
Yeah.
That,
I feel.
oh no, it's not for me.
Okay, so if
It's
we
working.
Either way,
beat it, can we take off that
Not
chip?
yet, so just,
Okay.
yeah, just one at a time. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your math is, if you got 13 or higher, you don't take any damage. So this thing, that thing wrestles you but does not damage you. Who got lower than 13?
I got one.
Okay, so you do take some damage. You take 5 points of crushing damage from it.
Oh, that's a lot.
there goes
5
health
points of
potion.
damage.
Yep.
Just used it up right then.
5. So
So this might be your cue. Yeah, that. Now, if you're very low, you are allowed to take no chips from this point forward. If you're less than half your hit points, you're allowed to take no chips. Just remember, somebody else has to take it on your behalf. Okay. Push. If you just roll, push that chip into the center, into the pool in the middle. And now let's see what you have. Yeah, push it in there. Push one.
Just
Only
the
one.
Only one. Yeah.
Sorry.
There you go.
Wait,
And everybody push their own chips,
of,
please.
one of yours actually was already in the middle, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
it
I had 3,
did
yeah.
the command, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody, please only push your own chips.
Yeah.
Did you do this? Yeah, so you push one in? Good. Okay, so those of you who still have a chip in front of you, that looks like 3 of you, you have another danger that's not dispatched, so do another saving throw.
Oh no.
I got over it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No.
You made 13? Right?
No,
You made it?
no.
No?
No, I did not.
Okay, no, 2 of you failed to do it. This is 4 points of damage crushed by the golems. Okay, there you go, and then push it in the middle. All right, so that's done. Now we're going to go counterclockwise. Let's go back and forth. So we'll do the exact same thing again. You can change what you're doing, but first thing is to split up the chips again. Everybody split up the chips. Look at your hit points. You don't have to take one if you're extremely low, but please take at least one if you're doing quite well.
2 this time.
I'll take 3.
Oh, sorry, I'm putting this
Yeah,
in.
how many golems do you want to
I'm
get close to and attract? Just put it in your circle, please.
Yes. And there's 2
Two
left.
there's still
I
2
can
left to
take another
go.
one. I can take another one.
You should have already got 3.
All right, yeah, I've got 2 out of 9.
I'll
Yeah,
take
exactly. This is
another one,
combat,
so
so someone
who
goes
wants to
down,
do-
they'll be
you
doing
have to-
death saving throws just like anything
do we
else.
all
No,
have
please
to-
don't do that. Please don't move things
Oh.
onto other people's
Sorry, I'm at
circles
3.
unless they ask you to.
Ah, okay.
Okay. All right.
Everybody gets one.
Okay, great. Now we're going to start with you, and we'll go around. So, which do you want to solve the puzzle, or do you want to take out a danger? And if so, make your choice.
Well, if I take out danger, I've only got 2 health, so
It doesn't matter. So you're an equal
Oh,
amount of danger. Yeah. So you're in an
Oh,
equal
okay.
amount of danger no matter what. This is just you trying to eliminate from somebody else.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So you can still take out a danger even if you're not personally under danger.
Oh, okay.
And try and just
I'll,
decide ahead of time. Try and decide quickly. You can
Okay.
discuss a little bit as you go.
Sure. I'll try to help someone else.
Okay.
Um,
And each time it'd be fun if you failed last time, it's good just use the same thing again. So I'd say go for the crotch shot again.
Okay.
So if you failed last time, just do the same thing because that's
so I
just
have
perfect.
more.
Yeah, exactly. So you go.
More
You give it another go. You take a better look at their physiology down there. This certainly is going to work. So go ahead and roll this time.
I'll do the same thing.
That's right.
Okay, I'll just do the same thing.
Yeah, and I'll give you a +1 because you have a little bit of experience with it now. You got a +1 on top of all that.
And that's 5,
Yep.
and that's
Their attack
Five.
bonus.
That's
Yep.
very
so
good.
that's 10,
11.
11.
Plus 11 is not quite enough. That roll is just too low. Once again, you try, but you're not able to remove one of the things through some bad luck. Again, just not guessing well at how these things are built. I would suggest to keep on trying. It's a matter of the dice agreeing. Remember, you can do a sacrifice. You can find an item that's worth something. You think creatively how to give up that item. It has to be gone permanently. Or, of course, if you got spell slots, that's a sacrifice that you can make as well. What are you going to do?
I want to ask if a medicine check on this liquid will help Cyrith work out, because the Arcana check didn't work, would
Yeah.
a medicine check on the nature of this liquid help him work out if grease is the right spell to use?
Sure, yeah, we'll creatively build that in. So yeah, if you succeed, it's always going to do some good if you succeed a roll. Yeah, medicine check, I like that. You try to figure out what is this thing's physiology
Because it's
like.
a +5, so it's a higher skill
Yeah,
than
yeah, I like
some
that.
other things. So
I like that. It'll basically give advantage to someone else for a shot. We can do it that way.
okay, so 18
Woo!
plus 5 is 23.
Okay, the 23. Yeah, you see, while you look at these things, they're organic in that there seems to be like a lot of little. It seems like they have the equivalent of what seems like veins and nerves if you look at it really carefully. And it's almost like little rivulets of this liquid metal are sort of moving up and down. You see as they move their bodies, what looks like the equivalent of muscles and tendons, all made of the same liquid, but you're actually reading their physiology quite well, so you're able to give advice on how to do that. What this means that you've kind of deferred, so it'd be like, so you have the right to take out, what was your total score, by the way?
Oh, 23.
23. So you have the power to take out 2 dangers. So I'm going to put these 2 things down. So like you've enabled somebody to take out 2 more dangers they normally would. The next person that hits that can say, oh, this physiological knowledge works, will be able to take 2 extra successes thanks to your success. So basically you've succeeded by 2. It's just deferred a little bit. So good job. So we're set to take out 2 extra dangers if somebody, as long as one person succeeds this round, or next time somebody succeeds anytime. What are you going to do? Operate the metal or take out the dangers? Because as you can see, now it's a balance. Like, if nobody solves the puzzle, this just keeps going and going and going. Somebody has to solve the puzzle. But of course, if you all solve the puzzle, it'll be over quickly. There'll be less stuff, but more dangers are there to be taken out. It's a balance.
I'm just realising that I should have done something else the first time. I'll go with the puzzle for Cavador.
Okay, so you're going to do the puzzle for Cavendor. You step onto the platform. This is the one that involves charisma.
Yep.
And the charisma station looks like this. It is a stage, sort of like what you have at like a kid's birthday party, like a little stage with marionette dolls hanging down from it. These marionette dolls are interesting in that they're one side, on the left-hand side, they're all dressed in black leather and have red epaulets, and they're all male-looking, they all are he's, and they all have sort of weapons, and they're all one side of what looks like a cave. And they're moving around and sort of arguing with the marionettes on the other side. The ones on the other side are all dressed in these really crazy costume-like clothes. They're a mix of he, she's, and theys. A lot of them have burned rectangles over their eyes, and they're acting quite extravagant and very loud and boisterous. They're arguing terribly with each other, like they're having a big row with each other, somewhat of a physical, somewhat of a fight. What you need to do is use your charisma to trick them to argue and fight with each other more, so that they'll move away from a little switch in the back, so you can reach through the stage and hit a switch. If you don't do it, then they'll stop you from doing it. So basically using your charisma to try to keep them arguing with each other to succeed at this one. So, time to roll charisma. And again, you can use a sacrifice to roll with advantage if you like. Is there a spell or an item that you'd sacrifice in order to get advantage? Oh my, the 1. No, this is the right idea. You definitely...
It was a 2, but I've only
Was it
got
2?
+2.
No, 2 plus 2. No, not nearly enough. Yeah, you try to get them to argue. It seems like so you can't really amplify their argument enough so that when you reach for the switch, they sort of zap you, like some sort of zap you a little bit of electricity. So they ones like hit you with their little wooden swords, and so you feel like you just can't get through, and they cover up the button. Unsuccessful. What do you do?
How much health does everyone have? Quickly.
I'm fine.
Enough. I
No,
think.
fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You use it.
Look, I'm gonna do a charisma check on the puzzle as well. Why not?
Yep. So the middle one is the charisma one is in the middle.
Oh, sorry, no,
charisma. Sorry,
The
charisma.
wisdom-
Yes, the one on where the gauntlet is. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you operate and try to do a charisma check. Same thing with the marionettes.
Hang on, let me just have a look and see if I can sacrifice something. Sorry.
Yeah, if it's something that's an appropriate item, it's just worth, if it's just worth a gold piece or so. Like a torture needle might not be enough, but aside from that, a lot of the items you have might be, if you can use it creatively. Just tell me a little story about why you should get an advantage on it.
Can I just use a chip of onyx? We got it from an imp in hell.
Yeah,
and,
awesome.
This is more hell.
Okay, very good,
generated
yeah.
Enemies and things like that.
Yeah, as you do it, so you combine that with some sort of skill check, right? So you can use an attack, you can use some other skill, so this gives you advantage. You'll roll 2 d20s on the following. So as you use the onyx chip, it's going to be super effective, because as soon as it gets close, these things seem to react viscerally, either very angrily because of that onyx chip, it seems like they really hate it, or it has some sort of power against them. We'll tell that story depending on what you do. What skill do you use?
Can I use Intimidation, I suppose.
Sure, intimidation. And if you remember that these two already, if you think it's appropriate to use, this can be used any time. If you want to use the anatomical stuff, with intimidation, it sounds like this is not the right time to get 2 victories, but those of you coming up make sense. Yeah, intimidation. You hold up that chip and you try to sort of scare and terrify them, or try to cow them.
Yep.
Roll 2 d20s, take the higher, and add your intimidation bonus.
Oh, Jesus.
This is so good. Because of this, I'm giving you.
Why are you solving the problem?
I'm solving the puzzle. I'm not fighing something.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a
Okay,
bit
good.
weird.
Yes. So by doing that, you're able to. With some of them, the ones on silver, they are they're all arguing when they see the onyx chip. They're all like, "It's not our fault. We don't do it." Like their little voices are sort of arguing, "It's not our fault not doing it." And the ones in red are really hating it. But you're not able to get the argument behind it because what is your total score with intimidation? Intimidation plus your bonus plus the higher die you rolls was what?
8.
An 8 of total. It's the right technique. I would do that again, right? But that sacrifice, I would say that sacrifice, you get to let that sacrifice ride. So it doesn't use up the onyx. You're not able to use the onyx chip sufficiently, right?
Okay.
So you're able to use that advantage again next time.
Okay.
Let me actually make a note of that because I think that's a good thing to do. And use, add again if not success. Okay. I'll think about that. Okay, not quite, but you've got the right idea. What do you do?
Okay, straight back to the puzzle. Hopefully get a decent.
Wait. So which station are you doing?
Narth is it called? What is it?
Narath?
Narath.
Yeah, so you want to move the Narath one?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's fine. Yeah, so that's fine. Narath is the
Dexterity.
dexterity one. Yes, so you're going to roll dexterity.
I
You
can't
can.
really see because I don't have my glasses, but was that the one?
The one with the
glove
glove.
one's on?
Yeah, this. Yeah,
No,
Narath.
the glove is on.
Narath is the glove.
Uh-huh.
Which one are you
Okay.
looking for? Cavendor is the one with the gauntlet. A
We have
bandful
to
has the
put that
skeleton.
Onto a different.
Yeah, so you want the Narath one to go somewhere else.
I don't know. Yes, I'm going to just do it. 'cause
Okay.
I'm tired. 7.
Okay, with a 7 plus your dexterity bonus is what?
7 and 3 to 10.
No, the 10, no. So you're able to try to squeeze through those bricks, those rocks, but it does not do it. You are not able to control that. What is your turn?
I'm going to grease some rags.
Okay, all right, so use your grease spell. So I think this is good because maybe you'll sort of know from this knowledge this might be a way to harvest these two, but we'll do that. You do your own roll first.
Yep.
Grease means that you lose the spell slot. You get to roll 2 d20s and take the higher of the two. Yeah. And you'll be, this is what I think Arcana, maybe?
Yep.
Yeah, so Arcana, trying to use the spell to tune it based on what you know about these things.
16 is the highest.
All right, take 16.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
21, my goodness, that was great. This works fantastically. It doesn't work as you expect. What you realize that because these things have sort of like a circulation, sort of muscles and thing, you decide to sort of cover them with grease and it sort of like sucks it into their body and they kind of fall apart. It's like whatever's sticking this together, you almost like see like these beads, they actually fall away in kind of like little threads. It's weird, it's liquid, but a lot of liquids is like little tendrils and threads and not like sort of droplets. Really strange. That's so good that would take out 2 of them. That's so good that you think that you take out 2 of them, but because you're using this knowledge here, you get to take out 4 chips from around the board, anywhere you like.
Okay, cool. I'm over here because they've helped me out.
Yep, just moving more in the middle,
sorry.
so we go right to grab.
And also over here for
Good,
puzzle
that's
solvers.
2. Now, you can decide what the other 2 are, and you can at least take advice on that. So as you do, which are the 2 that you sort of read? You get to pick 2 chips, because he removed 2 chips because he has such a great roll. We're going to now pull this one. You sort of set up for 2 more. You pick 2.
yours, so,
Yeah,
so
pick
you get...
you pick 2 off the board.
All right.
These are the 2 that you
I'm
examined.
going to grab
with
one of
your-
yours so you're
with
not
your
fighting.
medicine.
You've got 3.
Yeah.
Out of those of us who are left, who's got the lowest hit points? I've got 9.
I've got 19.
You want to decide quick?
How many hit points have you got?
16.
How many hit points do you have?
I have 6.
All right, I'm going to take a...
Yeah.
Okay, so it takes away the danger that's threatening you. All right. Good job. Very effective.
I've tried
Removing a lot of
to
danger
lessen-
from the board.
Yes, that worked.
Thank you.
That's fine.
What are you going to do?
Attack again.
Okay, so
To-
shooting.
to do
Yeah,
it.
so again, if you failed last time, I'd say just go ahead and do the same thing you did last
Same,
time.
yeah.
Now with a bigger chop, maybe knowing a little bit more, we'll see if you get better luck. Go for it. Oh, man.
There it is.
So in this one,
Peter.
I say you're going for it, but it's just that these things, they sort of melt away. They're able to shrink and rise in sort of strange ways, so you're not able to take out any challenges. All of you have at least 1 chip in front of you. Roll a strength saving throw, and the magic number is 13.
9.
Because you don't have to check in front of you, right? So
Not again. 8.
An 8, not enough. 5, not enough for you.
11.
11 is not enough. All of you are going to take 4 points of damage.
Nope.
19.
Oh, okay. Oh, you did great. Yes, if you rolled 13 or higher, you don't do it. If you have a chip in front of you, push one chip in the middle. Those of you who still have a chip in front of you, do another saving throws. Another golem is going for you.
Oh, look, another 8.
Nice.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Woo!
Okay.
21.
Yep, no.
No. Okay.
No.
So if you did not get a 13, you take 5 points of damage. And remember, you can do your bonus actions, you can do all the things, so you do your second wind, all the stuff that applies in combat you can do here with your normal set of actions and bonus actions. It's like combat in that regard.
Bonus action.
Yeah, some people have bonus actions, so some spells will be cast with bonus action. If you've picked some spells, there's a good cleric spell you can look up called Healing Word, which if you decide to add that,
Okay.
if you check that one, you have to add it to your list. Some people customize it, and that's something you use bonus action with. Okay, so we're going to now reverse the other way. So we'll start off with Shudian, but we're going to split up the chips first. Oh yeah, you push that in. Yeah. Everybody who did push the chips in with no more chips on the board, split it up again. Split it up
I'm
again.
only going to be able to take one this time,
How many
fellas.
second one?
I'll take 3 then.
have 2 hit points.
I'm
I'm on 5, so
Oh,
Just
I'm
solve
on
the
6.
puzzle, guys.
Solve
Solve that one, put it on that, let's be done.
Yeah.
We don't have enough
I
time.
want to
charisma.
try to get. I still want to try to get that middle.
That's
one.
your decision. Yeah, you can discuss a little bit between rounds here.
Here's what I got to do.
So it is a strategic moment.
I'll
Yeah.
take those
do,
two.
Do you go for the
I
quicker
have a
one and
healing-
survive?
You got to stabilize me as soon as I take those. If I go down,
You've taken my healing potion already.
you can steal it out of my backpack. You can take my healing potion.
Yeah, healing potions are always like on
And
your
my-
pack. So anybody who has a healing potion is assumed
I've got
it's on the
a
belt for
healer's
anybody.
kit and a healing potion on me. So when I go down, because I'm going down, you use those things to stabilize
Ooh,
me.
Give me one of them,
sacrifice,
come
yeah.
on.
No, you've got 3, I've got 3. I'll
Yeah,
use it on
sounds
you,
good.
and you use it on me. Let's go.
Okay, all right, I like that. So we've split up the chips. We're going to start with Shudian. So we did that, but you already rolled. So I think you just rolled.
That was
And,
just for
and
the,
then it
for
would
the-
split up. Again.
Yeah,
and then
so-
split up again. So yeah, this is for the new.
Okay, for the new one. All right. So
Yeah.
whose turn is it now?
Me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so I'm just rolling.
Ah, yes, that's right.
Oh,
Look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So that is with your chopping again with the
15.
axe. With 15, that is enough. You're able to take out a danger, either yours or somebody else's.
Okay.
Who needs it the most? There you go.
Yeah.
All right. That was yours. Next is you. What are you going to do to either take out a danger or solve the puzzle?
I can cast Grease again.
Great. Yeah, that means you go with advantage, and same thing. You might take out 2 if you roll very well with your arcana.
Oh. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Ooh,
18.
8,
18
Ooh.
and 16.
18. So
Oh,
18,
nice roll.
Plus
19,
your-
20, 21, 22, 23. 23.
23, that is enough to take out 2 dangers. So good job. Your grease worked really brilliantly. Again, all those weird thready bits and the grease sort of mixing in with the oil or this liquid, and you take out any 2 that you like. Anyway.
This way, I think.
Okay, go for it.
We've had a little bit of scheming while you're
Oh, okay,
in,
okay, fair enough.
We've got a bit of a concerted plan of attack.
Oh, good.
I'm going to try another roll at the far puzzle
Cavendor? Mhm.
again. And I'm going to use my Onyx Shard again because surely
Yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah,
can't
so
roll
you didn't use
terribly
it up.
again.
Yeah, exactly. Try intimidation with the shard. I said. Yeah, so
That's-
you're trying to get their attention.
That's right. My luck has to turn good sometime.
That's right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Is
is that not what you had exactly last
Holy
time?
cow!
That's literally exactly what I rolled last
Oh,
time.
no, I think you had a 2 and a 5.
It was a 2 and a 5 last
Oh, I
time.
thought it was a
Oh
3 and a 5
man,
last time
oh,
as well.
improving then. That's
Change
was a
those.
3 and a 5 last this time. That's fine.
Have the Onyx Shard back.
And he's rolling.
You know that
Exactly.
you go down
Rolls
the
again.
crown? Don't go.
It doesn't exist
All
anymore.
right, that's the dice. The dice have decided on this one.
Yeah.
Again, it could be very, you know, it's effective. Something like bad luck. So like
Yeah.
bad luck is just somehow like the noise or the whatever it is. They're always turning away from you to try and get their attention. Seems like they've got tunnel vision, so they just happen to just turn away at the wrong moment. What are you gonna do?
I'm going to try for Kavanaugh.
Okay, any advantages? Remember that you can use advantages to roll.
Do it.
with
No,
advantage.
we need all the luck we can get. Throw something away.
I'll take my chip of Onyx.
Yes. All right.
Let's try this one.
And what are you doing? Just try to take out, do the puzzle?
Yeah, just the puzzle.
Which one?
Kavanaugh.
Cavendor. Okay, so going on Cavendor.
Okay.
So charisma.
Oh, 8 and...
Yeah, get to roll
because it's
2.
charisma.
Yeah. Oh, because you
No,
use
yeah.
the chip,
Yeah,
so you get to
okay.
roll 2 dice and take
Yep.
the higher of the 2. Let's hope for the best. Hey,
Nine.
there we go.
And then we've got plus 2 for the charisma, so 11.
Yes. Wait. So, I thought that was a high roll. So
9 or 8. Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
So no.
Yeah. And then you plus the 2 for the charisma.
plus the 2 for the charisma. But but last time I gave 2 bonus points because the Onyx is so effective because it's demonic. So what is it with
Okay.
those 2 pluses that I had there?
Well, with
14.
with those, yeah. 14?
Is that right? What?
15, I think.
2 plus 2 plus 9?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
13.
13.
13.
Sorry.
Still not quite enough. So he knows it's a super effective thing, but it does not do it.
This
It's
one.
my dice, man. My dice.
Next
suck.
round.
Okay.
Give me
Yeah,
that.
well, he rolls advantage, still don't do it.
No.
Shit. My charisma's not that great, and I don't want to sacrifice anything, but
Yep, yeah, taking out dangers also can buy you some more time to give it another go. We'll try that one.
All right. Could I actually use my athletics
Yeah.
to take my warhammer and basically swing it around like a Olympic hammer and try and just knock out the head of one of these golems?
Yeah, athletics,
here?
like there's like actual athletic competition. Yeah, you just sort of swing it around like that. That's awesome. So do athletics. I like them. I'm going to give you a +1 because I love the image of that.
Okay.
Athletics is a pretty good skill for you already.
It is.
And of course, you can. Is there anything to do for advantage on this? Or are you going to use a spell to power it up that you creatively, or an item that you think makes it more effective?
No, we'll just try and take out.
Okay, go for it. All right.
So I'm going to roll my d20.
Yep.
Am I going to add my athletics?
Yes, you're going to add your athletics
To see
and
if
add
it
an extra.
hits.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Plus
And then
that-
you also add an extra 1. And, you
And
just need to be high
then when I
enough.
want to work out my damage, I will
No,
do the.
you just get to take out a danger. If you roll well, you take out
Okay.
1 danger. If you roll super well, you get to take 2 dangers. It's a simplified version of the combat.
So
dynamic.
with the attack bonus, am I adding that as well?
No, yeah,
Okay.
you're using skills. You'll notice like your attack bonus is really like a skill, right? Is use
Okay.
strength plus proficiency. Your athletics is also your strength plus proficiency, so they should be about equal.
Okay.
Might be good enough. Do the
13,
math.
17, 18.
18, very good. 18 is enough to take out 1 of the dangers, so pick which one you're
All
going
right,
to remove.
I'm actually only on 5, so I have to get rid of mine.
Yeah.
Okay, all
That's
right.
okay.
Good. You take one that's most threatening you.
Especially if it's about to come back.
All right,
Oh,
Yummy.
wait.
No, we've got to roll for that.
I'm going to go for the cabin door.
Okay, you're going to try charisma. Oh, that's a pretty good stat for you. Yep.
Oh, yeah, plus
Is there something now? You can pass objects around, or are you going to try to? Use the onyx chip to get advantage? Use somebody else's onyx
Don't,
chip.
it hasn't been.
Is it cursed, maybe?
Take mine.
Try it.
Okay.
Take my onyx chip.
Okay, so yeah, we need to know whose onyx chip is going to get sacrificed if it succeeds. All right.
Mine, and,
And you get an extra +2. Come on, you got advantage. You got a +2. You're good at.
I still got that mirror.
And what you're doing? Yeah, using your charisma. Yeah,
Plus by the friendly chip.
yeah.
Dice plus 3.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, dice +3. Nice.
17 plus 3.
Thank
is,
God.
yeah,
20.
plus
Yeah, well, that. Yeah, exactly.
There is a god in
And
hell.
you would have rolled 2. The onyx chip is gone. You decided to roll. Whenever you roll with advantage,
Cthulhu.
roll 2 dice. At the same
You're always
time, so
looking
it's
out
more
for
fun
me.
that way. So the onyx chip is gone,
Yep.
but this completely freaks it out. Like finally, kind of, you got them in the right. You were able to distract the marionettes and get over the din and use the right words. Thanks to good luck, you are able finally to do it. And Renish, perhaps with some relief, says, "Yeah, yes, Cavendor lost its force by an act of great charisma. Which clan took the force for itself?" That was the next one. Let's have a whisper. Is the one that's going to get the call. That's your choice.
Alright.
Nara!
Rendish needs
So
to hear
it-
it, so we have to.
so
as
it
well.
came
Dramatic
to
effect, I
pass.
swear.
If you said I lost my mind.
As that happens, all right. So, Renish, looking down. He seems contemptuous and disappointed, though the chains start to loosen underneath all of the treasure chests in the row underneath Narath. So, and the chains stop swinging. You think you've solved the puzzle, or it's starting to wind to a stop. Renish with contempt says, "You chose to tell the story of a temporary victory by a rival clan. The war raged on until a Banthil prevailed. Feel the power of a Banthil against you." So we have one more round just as it winds down. You can't solve the puzzle. We're going to do one more round. So move. So we'll do all this. Who has got a chip in front of them?
Yep.
Okay. Do a strength saving throw.
Oh, for
Fuck's
You get crash tackled. You're fine. You get crash tackled by a golem. All right, you take 4 points of crushing damage, tackled by a
Four or
golem.
five.
Take this one.
Did you get
away
damaged?
from me.
Oh, you get squished.
Yeah.
All right.
They're saving throws.
You go, yes. So Saria goes down, so he temporarily gets submerged underneath as things sort of doesn't, and it rises up, and he's going to be death saving throws as we go into this last. And this last round is all about taking dangers. There's nobody needs to solve puzzles. No, we will. Sorry.
Hey, if you die in hell,
If you still have a-
go to heaven.
If you still have a chip in front of you, do
stay
another
with the
saving
Just
throw.
yeah. And wake up here again.
Oh, 9.
Yes.
Oh, good.
17.
Good. Come on.
14.
14.
Oh,
just
yes!
enough. All right. Push a chip in. Yeah, it splinters and rolls apart, but you do not take any damage from that. Last one, last saving throw against the last 2 golems going for the 2 of you.
Oh, yes!
Yes!
All right. Again, splits apart and they
Good to
sink
see
down.
someone's having
Push
fun.
those chips in the middle. All right.
Do you want to do it?
No,
Me with
I
my
was about
ribs
to, but I'm like,
sticking
no,
out.
don't touch
Yeah.
anybody
Are you
else's
sure?
chips.
I don't
On the floor like this.
I'm trying to learn to not touch anybody else's chips.
Okay.
No problem.
Last, so
Information.
because Reg is upset with you, and the thing is lying down. The golem's going to attack for 1 more round as he thinks to settle. So please, hey, welcome back. Go and split up those chips. And you can take some
Give
as
us
well.
3.
So now that the puzzle has been solved underneath Narath,
I
there's
see
some
chips.
treasure is going to be in the offing, and split up the chips amongst everybody who's here. And 1 more round.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Bring the chair out from over there.
Oh yeah, please. Maybe just maybe do a little
I'll
do-si-do, or well, you could all get up and just.
Can probably manipulate that.
Oh, nicely done. Okay. Are you sure that's all right? Okay,
Oh,
help her out. help her out.
that was dexterous.
Yeah. No, that was.
Can we get an
That was
advantage of
that's
dexterity
an act
from
of
that?
dexterity.
Because
Yeah,
that was
beautiful
definitely-
idea.
Give advantage.
Yeah, I'd say advantage on that dexterity check.
Okay, so we've got to take.
Yep, got to split the chips for 1 more round. Lennox is upset with you for telling the story of Narath's
Who
victory.
doesn't have enough to take at least 1 hit?
Hey,
And remember,
Honestly, probably
when
I
with
don't
his
like
he'll,
five
he'll take a
hit
death
points.
saving
I can take
throw
one
as
hit. I
well.
got 6
Which direction are we going? I think
HP,
we're.
so I can take 1 hit.
Take
Which
one.
direction did we go last
Probably.
time?
We went this way last time.
Okay, so we're
it's
good.
still-
So let's try not have him take a death saving throw because bad
Oh no,
things
didn't we
happen.
just? Oh no, we just
No,
moved that way.
So-
Yeah.
Oh no, you'll tell us when a death saving throw if it happens when it comes to it, but
Yeah.
just pointing out people, I'm only on 5.
Yeah, so
I'm at
Um,
6, so
Yeah.
I can take 1 hit. You can, if you
I
get a 5,
can
you,
take 1 more.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll either get a 4 or
can
5.
I take one even though that I'm on the ground?
Nope.
Okay.
these volumes are too
I'm
clever,
gonna have to
aren't
take.
they?
I'm gonna have to
That's
take. Yeah.
Stacking them up. Okay. Anna, you have
It's
some
not
hit
looking
points.
good.
Do you want to take on a couple of the dangers here? There's how
Can I
many?
take on someone else's?
Yeah. How many hit points do you have right now on your character
In
sheet?
which area? Sorry.
No hit points.
Hit points.
Yeah, hit
Okay,
points.
hit points. I've got 6, so I can.
Okay,
Take
take
one.
take on
Yeah,
one.
take
You'll
one.
certainly survive 1 hit.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, I think
That'd be
we're
nice.
all
That'll
on
help
that.
people out.
We're all on
Yeah,
our
that
last
moment.
legs.
Well, not all of us.
All right.
Oh,
This
screw you.
round might finish things off. Okay.
I've got 4.
But first, we'll go around and take actions. Now, no puzzling needs to happen because the puzzle is now locked in place. So now you're just trying to get rid of golems. Each of you takes an action, and you can again be creative, use sacrifices to try to lower the damage before they attack back. What's it going to be, Gammy?
Can I use a flask or 2 flasks of oil?
Sure.
These things? I don't know
Yeah.
what I might do.
Ah,
Do
great.
something to it because they're made of metal. So
Yeah, like the grease. So
Yeah.
seeing how effective the grease was,
Improvised
you decide to
grease,
use
yeah.
oil for the same thing. I'd say that maybe you would use,
I have 2 flasks of oil.
That's right. That's right.
And
Yeah, and I'd say like maybe use sleight of hand is kind of a good thing there because you're able to manipulate them and hold on to them and kind of creep up behind them and pour it on them when they're not
Yeah.
realizing. I think that makes sense. Or stealth actually would be good. Yeah, let's use stealth. Yes, so stealth is a plus
Even
7.
better.
So we'll take 2 d20s in hand at the same time.
2.
You're going to roll with advantage. It's always good when you roll with advantage. Get another die out of the bag. And,
Oh,
just try to have everybody, just always have 2 d20
Oh,
in front of
okay.
you. Roll both at the same time. You're going to add 7.
Okay.
Ah,
16 and...
or 18, so you take the 18.
I take 18.
Add
Okay.
7, what's that total?
5 and 2 is 25.
25, very good. 25 is so effective that this grease makes 2 of them fall apart. Take out 2 of the dangers, very effective. And cross off those 2 flasks of oil, please. Yeah, remove the dangers, that's the most
Too many,
important.
right.
So
Too many
all
words,
of
I
these
know.
chips are.
Yeah, they're all dangers in front of
Dangers.
each person.
Okay,
So
then.
who is in
I'll
the most
take it.
danger,
That
or
one.
who's the least able to resist the
Yeah.
strength
If-
saving throw?
If anything,
Your decision.
maybe
One,
I'll with some of the others because I've got 4 hit
Oh, you
points
got
right
4.
now.
Either this one or.
I was
or
going to say,
the-
you two I think are both on 6 and
I'm
I'm
at
on 5
5,
hit
yeah.
points.
So there. I would suggest.
How many are you on?
Chivalry, I would
8.
say.
Okay.
So
Chivalrously
Possibly with,
giving up your
clerics.
kind of side.
Smaragd, Smaragd is okay with it.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Shrugs has the
Go on.
healing
Okay,
potions.
then.
That's one anyway,
That
so-
was
Smaragd has one
and-
healing
and-
potion.
And then,
All right.
How many do you have? How many
8.
hit points?
Oh, sorry.
You've got. Oh,
I've
where
got
this
8,
one
yeah.
is?
This group before is
This
for
is
Vault.
me. I've got,
This is you.
I've got 19.
You got 19.
I haven't
okay,
been
then.
hit yet.
Okay,
Ooh.
well, then you can keep those. You
could take
them.
one.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
So then, and you've got
I have
20
6.
against.
I have
6
6
hit points.
Yeah.
Uh,
You have
Go decide quick.
I
Do
have
your best.
5.
5. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that one then.
Okay, great. All right. Good job. That grease, that oil definitely worked, and now we're to Smaragd.
Okay, so I realise I could probably now use Sacred Flame on one of these dangers because it's a cantrip.
Ah, sure. Yep. Yeah, it's just as good as any. So I would say
covered in oil.
what you'll do is use your religion. So I'll say
Okay.
using not religion, I guess. Yeah, I say use religion, but because these things are dangerous, I'm gonna give you +2 on it.
I was going to say, given that we also know stuff about them from the medicine chair.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah. So we'll give you extra +2 because of very clever use.
Can I confirm? I roll the
Yeah, I
d20
keep the-
plus those to see if I actually make contact first.
Yeah, so it's very simple. It's
And
just the
if I
d20 with
do-
all that. If it's high enough, you get rid of dangers. That's all.
So I
it is.
don't need to roll for damage.
Nope. you don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so this is a religion check.
Religion.
Does your deity apply the sacred flame well to these weird things?
They do not.
Ooh.
Can't reach you.
Yeah, maybe your deity. Yeah, your deity is strangely not powerful here, or like whatever prayer kind of gets the deity's attention isn't loud. You don't pick the right set of prayers.
what happens
Adding
when
all
you're
that
in
up is
hell.
not high enough, and you're not able to take any danger, Smaragd. Your deity's forsaken you. Vol, what you gonna do?
Okay.
These things also have to stick to it.
I'm going to sacrifice the chip of onyx that seems to be
The cursed chip of onyx will finally do all right.
to do just swing the axe at these things.
Yeah, I'd say you sort of like
Okay.
fit it in there like Diablo style. You
Yeah.
put the chip of onyx in your axe and swing it to see if that works.
Using athletics, so
Sure,
okay,
yeah, exactly.
another
Yeah, it's
+5.
athletics. Yeah, I say you just kind of try and bully them and like push them and squish them down, like using the axe more like the haft of it, pushing them, and maybe the onyx will do it. Yeah, roll
Let's
2
see.
d20s. If it succeeds, you-
Oh, I like this one.
Oh, nice.
17 plus 5,
yeah.
and then do I add the strength as well? As
No,
the
just use your athletics bonus. So your
Oh,
athletics
yeah.
bonus
So
plus
it's plus 5 anyway.
yeah.
So
What's your total?
22, yeah.
22. That's enough to take out 1 extra. So Archer's 22. It's not 23 because that would be the magic number.
I wish it was 23. but
22
it's
is enough to
not.
take out 1
Yeah.
danger. So take out 1 danger with that.
So who's got? I mean, I could take one off of me. I'd survive if I get hit
Yeah,
each time.
I
But
can take it. But
you can take at least
Gotta
one.
decide.
one
Yep.
hit, one hit. Yeah.
One. Okay, let's take one off of you then.
All right, so you're able to push that one down and shove it down underneath and remove it from the board. What do you do?
Sean?
I have 6 hit points.
6. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to use a cool skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to use Channel Divinity because I've not done that before.
Hey,
And
nice.
then
Oh,
I
that's
think I get to choose one of these 2 that are under here. So I'm going to use
Yep.
Preserve Life.
Yes, that's a great one.
And I'm just going to make the assumption that we're within 30 feet of each other because it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
no worries. Yeah, that's fine.
And then I
Yeah,
can distribute up to
Bruce.
10 hit points amongst anyone I choose. No more than half of each person's hit points. No, you're not taking any damage. I don't care about you. I'm going to take 1 for myself, and you get to top yourself up to half of your hit points.
Awesome. Okay, you've done that very well. Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
Alright.
Yeah, just remember you can't do this unless you're under at least half. Yeah, so you can't go over your
Drowning.
Well, technically, it
5 times your cleric level, and that's where you got the 10 from. Yeah, was it 10 points? 5 times your cleric level.
It just says 10 on the sheet.
That's
so
right.
it says
That's
on it.
exactly it. Yeah.
I have looked that up before. It is 5 times the
Yeah.
cleric level.
And it can't go over half of
next
its
level
maximum.
up to 15.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Very
And
good.
even now I know how Channel
So
Divinity
now I
works.
can
Yeah, it's just like an extra spell slot that's very
That's good.
specific to
Yeah,
what it
well,
does.
check that.
Great time to use Preserve Life. So your deity does penetrate through maybe, or you don't have the same deity. Maybe this deity is trying to show off, that over your deity. They're always fighting each other up there in the heavens and decide to actually answer your prayer. And yeah, healing energy goes in. Have you given people hit points? Have you distributed?
Yeah,
Have you
between
hit
myself
well?
and Sean, yeah.
Very good, very good. Yes, make sure you can't go over half of your maximum. This is
No.
only for the downtrodden that are allowed to get this particular one.
Well, how many hit points did you got?
I was on 6, so yeah.
You're on 5, it looks like.
No, that was -5.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Were you in negative hit points?
No, I was just minusing.
Oh, I see,
that-
okay.
minusing damage.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
So
it.
how many did you go up to take yourself to half?
To half would be up to 9.
9 points.
Yeah, so another 3 hit points that gave you.
Oh, 3, 4. Okay, so you can have 6 because you're dead.
Hey,
There's
all right,
nothing
yeah, so that's how
after
it's a little bit
this.
tricky, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
That's all-
specialized
that's all I
spell
need.
that
That's all I need.
can
Yeah,
only
yeah,
help
yeah.
people really in
It's a
trouble.
black
I can
Void.
take
You don't
two
have
hits if I
anything in
need to.
front of you.
Okay,
This
good.
is true.
He's
This
on
is true.
zeros.
Yeah, no, this does
Good,
make
you don't
sense.
do a saving throw, that's very, or death saving throw,
My
very
god is a
good.
benevolent god.
You are a better cleric.
There's
than me.
nothing.
He's chaotic.
It's all black afterwards.
Okay, so next, Anna, yeah, you can do an attack or any other skill that you're good at,
This way.
and everybody's using their skills very creatively, it's a good job, people are doing a lot of creative fun with it. If you use do you have spell slots? I think you might. You can
no,
just,
I don't think I'm up
oh, that's
to
right,
that.
because as a ranger from, sorry,
Yes,
you
but
were a ranger, I
I
was
want
thinking
to try
druid.
out my club.
Yes, okay, time to get out the club.
Yes.
Do you have any object that you want to, so
You'll only do 1d4.
don't worry about that. So,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, so
Sorry.
success,
I'm gonna get
yeah,
rid of
you
my
don't worry about the amount of damage.
objects.
Club is great. So, yeah, you would use,
I've only got 20 arrows, but I don't want to use too many arrows.
yeah, oh, don't worry about it, arrows are really easy. I think shooting a bow might be a really good
Oh,
plan,
in that
yeah.
case, if I can get arrows renewed.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
generally
case,
you can
I'll
collect
do my
those.
bow.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
yeah, right, I'll try my bow out.
Okay, get out the bow, try to shoot one of these things.
Bloody hell.
What's happening with us?
Oh.
Ah, the dice have just decided on that story. This, unfortunately, yeah, just with bad luck, they're sort of forming and morphing. The arrow's going straight towards it, but they sort of stretch apart like this hole appears in their body, and the arrow just sails right through. Just very bad timing. Unfortunate for you. No danger removed, and we're back to you, who's alive, so you're able to actually act now.
Oh shit.
Bit groggy, but
I think I have one more spell slot for grease if I can grease again.
Yes, to have you used since your last long rest, like during the entire
I
dungeon.
used
Have you used
2
anything?
greases now.
Yeah. Did you use any spells last session?
I think I did use Fog Cloud. Am I out of spell slots?
That would be, yeah. So
Okay,
you should
we're
pass over your
we're
sheet.
on
I'll
to
tell you.
cantrips.
Well, no, so pass over your sheet because I think I can answer that. Because you, on a short rest, you're able to get one spell slot back. So it says on
But I
level
didn't
2.
short rest.
Because he was casting the
Bonfire.
bonfire.
Oh, well, we'll look over. I didn't tell you that was the consequence. You might have chosen otherwise. No, at level 2, you actually can cast 3 slots per spell level. And then you have this thing called Arcane Recovery that during a short rest, you can get spell slots combined level equal or less than, so you get 1 extra one. So you would have extra. Yeah, you would have 4 slots total as long as you did the Arcane Recovery.
Huh.
Let's just say you did, because you
decide
rested
that,
twice basically. Remember when you attuned to the red mirrors? That's when you had a short rest then as well.
Thank God I
So-
cut my throat.
Tick off Arcane Recovery, so flip over your
no one
sheet.
ever.
Sorry.
So flip over your sheet again. See that word Arcane Recovery there?
What is that?
box.
In the, on the right side, there's a little box there. Help point out. See that little check box? No, on the right side.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Just
Yeah,
here, it's
that's
like a
fine.
special skill you can use once
That's
per
right.
short
Yeah.
rest. or
I should do it
whatever.
in pencil, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's a erasable
Woo,
pen.
nice. Okay. And then when you do a long rest, you get to untick that box. So that's why you have an extra spell slot. You do grease. You've done Fog Cloud. Very good.
Cool.
2 greases. Last spell that you got in the tank, you get advantage.
Can I
on
do
this.
one more grease? Is
Yeah,
that
do one more
allowed?
grease. I'd say so.
So but we know it works. We know it,
It-
makes
it-
it,
Yeah,
fall
it
apart.
I'll give you an extra one because you know it's a super effective.
Please don't dice gods.
And it's Arcana, right?
Would you-
Oh, so
Is,
your
is
spell-
there
spell
a
attack
god
bonus,
of
yeah.
luck that I can pray to in this little moment?
Well, you've got a few gods to choose from. This god was listening, so.
Hey, what's your god called?
He-Man, Master of the Universe.
Amen. Master of the universe. Don't fuck me.
12.
12.
Hey, okay, good.
Plus Arcana is 1, 2, 12, 17.
Good. All right, 17 is great. You were able to take out one of the dangers that
Awesome.
way. So reduce the danger to the party by taking one out. Who's it gonna be?
I know who I have to do.
Thank you. Hey.
You're fired.
I'm just more likable, mate.
All right, last chance to take out
here.
He's
Steve.
gone. He gone. Man, Master of the
And
universe.
resurrected you.
Yeah, this is
Resurrected. He-Man helped.
Yeah, that was like
Come on,
that
man.
was like hours ago. Wasn't
All right, last chance to take something out.
athleticism, yeah, just
Do you have a new skill they haven't used yet that you want to give it a go? Instead of swinging that axe, you want to do something different?
Can I sportily run around and try and
Yeah.
take a few out of...
Well, with athletics? Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Javelin.
Yeah, no, I think so. I'll give you a
Iron
plus
bar
one
that
for
you still
that.
have.
Yeah, so you can distract them and have them chase you around, but you're fast enough because you finally gotten the hang of
Yeah,
like
that's
running on
me.
this weird slippery surface, and you finally are able to dig in. You know, sort of like running in the sand. You're really going for it. So if you do well, you'll get them to chase you. Get at least one chase you, and therefore buy some time. Roll athletics would be a plus one because I like that image.
If I
And you're rolling with advantage because of what? Did you? Okay.
I got a 12 plus, yeah.
You rolled 2. Why are you rolling with advantage? Did you sacrifice something?
Yes, I will always sacrifice something, yeah.
Okay, good.
It might be your sanity, but you're
Something shiny that makes them chase you, or something like that.
Yes, what about a silver bracelet?
Okay, yeah. Oh, they hate that silver bracelet. They hate silver so much. So you got to cross the silver bracelet off. I don't know if that onyx chip will also make sure that onyx chip got spent from last time.
I did.
And we'll take the higher of the 2. Very good.
Oh.
So you
Still
keep the
has
12.
our
Good job.
shot.
Plus your athletics is
I
what?
don't.
5.
5, so 17. That's 18. Okay, so you have to take out 1 danger. So 1 more danger comes off the board with a good
You
roll.
need it more than I do, man.
Yep.
I was going to say you need it more than I
Oh, yeah.
It's He-Man.
Oh, no, I've got 9, so yeah, no, I'll take off.
do. That's him.
Yeah.
See, this is what doing good does.
Instead of throwing the wizard down.
Yeah, something about
All
that.
right.
I'm
So
making
let's
I'm
finish
making a
this
moral
off.
conscious decision,
If you've got a
actually.
chip in front of you, you've got a golem trying to drown you underneath this liquid iron.
I wonder.
Oh,
I can
fuck's
take
sake.
a couple of
Oh,
hits, so-
20.
Woo, nice. All right.
13. Oh, 13. Oh, no, I need to beat it by 1.
No, you don't. No, 13 is enough. Yes, 13 is good. All right. You take no damage. Did you take damage?
Since I got a
Did
natural
anybody take
20,
damage?
does that mean that I get rid of 2? Or?
No, I'm afraid not. No,
Damn.
saving throws don't respect 20s. I wish they did, but we can never think of something good to do with the big saving throw as a reaction. Did you do your roll?
Yes,
Your saving throw? Was it a success or not?
yes,
Okay, it was a
yes,
success.
so I took one away.
Oh, I thought you had
Yeah.
2, only 2 before. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, if you still have a chip in front of you, do it again.
Wait,
No,
you took
yeah.
your 2 away before?
No, I didn't, I left them there. Yeah,
So if
So
you do a
you've
saving
been
throw, you always should push a chip in. So
I did pushed a...
that was your success.
This is now,
Now they're
them
attacking.
Oh,
attacking
okay, yeah,
us.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
So no,
yeah.
I haven't done any rolls
Yeah.
yet, so...
Okay, so
yeah,
so do a single roll for
Yes.
your saving throw to see if you take any damage.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you
Yes,
definitely
I
do.
did.
You
Yes, I
take
did.
5 points of damage. You're
Okay.
crushed for 5.
That is good. So that can...
I believe in you.
Okay, and push your chip in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Okay,
about that level.
if you still have a chip in front of you, do another saving throw.
8
Oh, look at
plus
that.
30.
Oh!
Saving,
Yeah, that's-
it's a saving.
Saving throw of strength, yes.
Yeah. Okay, 13.
Yes.
13, just enough. Abel, man, you are tough ass.
So push 1 in. 'cause-
If I roll 11 or higher, you take 5 points of damage. I think it's enough to knock you down, isn't it?
Yes, it will.
Do you have only 5 left?
I have 4 left.
Are you adding 5 to your rolls each time?
No, so you, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, are you
Yeah,
rolling
I just-
d20s?
I just-
What were you
Uh,
adding to your d20s?
well, I thought it was just a saving throw.
Yes, a saving throw.
Oh.
So it would be a
For
d20
strength.
plus 5.
Oh,
Did you add
okay.
5?
Yeah, so what did it was still wasn't enough anyway.
It
that's fine.
It wasn't enough. for
Yeah,
last
Yeah, but
time,
good to keep in mind because these will happen. So
Oh.
it's very confusing. But when you do saving throws, you put this little box because you see that black dot next to it. You're proficient. You're very experienced using strength. You've been practicing it all your life, and that's why you get an extra 2 on strength saving throws in particular. So your strength is 3. And that's what you've been using,
Yep.
which makes sense. But this is a saving throw, which is a little bit different. You get an extra 5.
Okay.
So I'd say definitely to make up for several saving throws where you haven't quite had enough juice, let's go ahead and not, you don't take damage on this one. Okay.
I think even if
You
you
can push
take damage,
damage.
you still push your chip in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
if you
Because
take damage or not, you always push your
it
chip
is.
in.
It has expended its energy
Exactly.
trying to attack you.
Last
And
2.
now-
Okay, another
Go,
saving
man.
throw.
I knew it was going to take a while. So.
Super strong, yeah.
No.
Okay. You take 5 points of damage.
Yep. Okay.
Whatever,
Finally,
Mr.
I get
Full
hit.
health.
Yeah, first
I went
blood.
back down to what I started.
That's all right. This is a resource you've been preserving until this last moment. You're being the hero at the end. Push your
All right.
chip in.
It's
Last one. Last strength saving throw is the last one who tries to tackle and drown you underneath the iron.
Pray to He-Man.
He-Man.
That's right, Freddy He-Man.
we're in. Wait, we're in hell.
He-Man.
Skeletor. Let this
All right.
work. Kill the wizard.
It doesn't matter if you...
Crushing Prince Ramsey!
He-Man!
Yes.
You take double damage.
You take 5 points of damage on that one.
Oh, that's
I'm
okay.
converting to He-Man.
Yeah, I think the golem takes on the face of Skeletor as it pummels you.
Do
Okay.
that
And as
cheesy
it runs
grin
away,
at-
you just hear.
All right. They all sink away. the level of the chests have all loosened themselves, and you all are able to split up some loot because you successfully solved the puzzle. Took some extra damage for sure, but you've gotten these chests free, and you're going to have a hoard of treasure next time. So just like we had a hoard, we'll split it up next time. No, but it's big. This is the big pile. Remember at the end of big pile of loot. Yeah. So your loot is going to be a hoard of loot, but we always do that because it takes a while to roll. Magic items, lots of money is in these chests.
Nice. What about our experience for this?
That's what I'm going to do in just a mo too. Okay, so the goblins
Ordeal.
dissipate, the chains loosen. Now, of course, the ones that got covered by the oil, they didn't get free. You know, the puzzle had been solved faster. You know that they wouldn't have been covered, but you did quite well. Like you focused on, you did it quite quickly. So that's a pretty good amount. So some of those chests are covered, but a lot of them are free. You get that 1 column worth of chests. As you're sort of doing this, the black liquid just keeps on rising. Soon the liquid's back all the way up to the top. So it's risen back up to where it started, and you're able to get out of this pit, which is always nice. And so, yeah, rely on how well that you did. Right, okay. So, yeah, you get a respectable amount of hoard treasure that we will do. Would have been more, as Ranish is going to lecture you on, but you did a good job with that. We'll start splitting up the hoard next time. The XP that you get is 1, so if you're level 2, you get 100 XP now. Yeah. If you're level 1, you're just going to get 100 XP for the whole session at the end, because everybody level 1 gets a bulk amount. So are you still level 1 as well? Okay, so we have 2 level 1s, just hold off on that. We just do simplified XP when you're level 1. Very good, but you've added 100 XP if you're level 2. Now, all these chests are sort of floating and bobbing, it's all in this moment. Again, if you've ever felt that urge to wrestle and fight for things, and you know, like you know your adventurer's clan, your adventurer's vow, your parlay with each other, was to always split things evenly and roll dice as necessary. But you sense maybe through communication with the deities, you're so far deep in hell that you think the gods of parlay maybe don't have power here. And if you've ever felt a dark side to your personality that you'd rather take and be selfish and fight each other, this is your invitation to make it rise up. Or, you know, this is your choice of character. No, you stay good and stay true to your principles no matter what, and it'll be even. So you have a choice. You can do this hoard splitting one of 3 different ways next time, based on your vote. One is just the regular way. You know, everybody rolls the D100s and D20s and splits up the hoard just like you did at the end of Chop Chop. Everybody gets an even chance. The other way is to do full-on PvP. You all vote like you're going to actually attack each other. Nobody's going to die, but you're going to start with where you're at, attack each other, and whoever survives, you know, at the end of the battle royale is going to get the largest share of the treasure. Basically, the treasure will be distributed on how long you survive the battle royale.
That's bullshit because he'll win.
That might not actually be
It's
the
up to
next
you
time
whether
next
it's a
time,
collective
so-
vote on that, right? And there's
Team up
one,
against him?
and there's one that's in the middle. There's one where you're not going to attack each other, but you're going to compete with each other. You're going to try to grab an unfair share of treasure by using your skill. So you'll be your favorite skill. Again, you'll use a creative skill somehow. Maybe you're using a sacrifice to get advantage on that. And whoever rolls the highest gets more treasure than those who roll the lowest. So somewhere in the middle. So 1 is just a regular split of treasure, totally fair. 2 is in the middle. It's a skill challenge. So not attacking, but you're competing, getting an uneven amount of treasure based on the result. 3 is full PvP. When nobody dies permanently, but whoever's standing the longest gets the most treasure by
Is that
far.
based on the hit points we have now?
Yes, it'll be from
So,
this moment
yes.
forward.
Yeah.
I'm on 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any spell slots.
I was gonna say we're all pretty wounded. I think.
Well, then the fight will be over that much more quickly. So these are the thoughts when you're just like,
to fight
yeah,
one
I'm
another.
exhausted, but everybody else is more exhausted. Yeah, we'll put your chips on. It'll be an actual battle. So, I don't think you get to debate with each other. I think, again, in the spirit of things, you're going to close your eyes and do a 1, 2, or 3. So decide without talking. You're going to do a
Are we
regular.
going to hold up fingers or something? With our
Yeah,
eyes
you
closed?
hold up, yeah. With your eyes closed, you're going to hold up a 1, 2, or 3 to vote. 1, 2, or 3. Close your eyes. Hold up a 1, 2, or 3. 1 is a regular split. 2 is a skill challenge competing. 3 is full-on attacking each other.
With the skill challenge, can we also be at risk of injury, like with the PvP?
No, no injury. Yeah, 2 is not injury or just being unfair. So 1 is totally fair. 2 is unfair, but non-violent. 3 is full-on violence. And I don't see everybody's voted yet. Hold up and open your eyes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Wow. So wait, keep it up. 1, 2, 3, 4 votes for number 1. 1, 2, 3 votes for number 2. So regular barely wins. Okay.
It'll be fair.
It'll be
I might
fair.
not be here, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, fair
Try your
split.
stuff if you're not here.
No.
You
Can
overcome
we
the
have your next
temptation
year?
of hell to split this evenly. All right, we've done the XP. There's I know we're right at 9:30. I want to make sure you go, but some loot as we go. So each of you the loot comes from next time. However, you get a memento. While the level's still rising, you realize that if you dip one item into this liquid iron, as it comes out, it's going to stick and be coated to your item. It's not going to make the item any better, but it's going to look cool. If you want to have this item covered with sort of liquid iron texture, it's a memento of this battle. So you can decide. We don't have to commit to it. Just if you decide to do that, just say dash liquid iron.
So,
Ship of iron.
will the liquid, will that item covered in liquid iron, will it always look like it glimmers and shimmers
Yeah,
and
it'll
stuff
always
like
look
that?
like it's kind of covered with this black ripply liquid.
Do I need to tell you, or do I just need to note it?
I'll just note it yourself. Yeah, we don't have time, unfortunately. I'd love to share all that, but I want to keep
Can
my
we
promise.
drop
to do all
drop in the liquid?
that. It has to be an object. Now, next time, there's...
Sorry, one more question
yeah.
with the liquid iron. Will it then make that item we own, you said it looks cool, would it mean that if we were to sell it or to trade it or like to show it off to the kobolds because it's flashy shiny?
I think with the skill, yeah, it might make it sell a little bit more. This is mostly an aesthetic decision more than a functional. It might be worth a little bit more, but don't count on a big difference.
Only one item?
Yes, only one item. Yeah, I've got to stop there because I want to
drop drop's hands.
I want a chance to fill it. Make sure you fill out your feedback forms. But the next hook. So normally you vote on what you do next. So remember, you chose to do the silver path, and then you choose to do the red path. There's only one path left. That's the goblin path. So now you're going to get outside. You're going to chase down the goblins. You're going to see how the goblins fight. This will be more outside and more swashbuckling type stuff. So you're going to do that, and that's the last bit of knowledge you think you'll need before you're ready to take on the shrine, the Shriners, as they're called, the Shriners' Cave. Cool. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed watching us teach Dungeons & Dragons to absolute beginners. Want to know more about how we do it? Then support our nonprofit mission. Unlock extensive how-to videos and use the Courage and Chaos method yourself by using free materials that we provide. You can get all that at the link that you see here. That is tinyurl.com/teachdd, or you can click that link in the description. Of course, please like, share, and subscribe. We're going to come out with these videos every 2 weeks in this series, so I will see you again soon.